The Sefer Bahir, Part 1, the first verses of creation. Rabbi Nuhunia ben Hakana said, one verse, Job 37:21 states, "And now they do not see light, it is brilliant, Bahir, in the heavens." Another verse, however, Psalms 18:12 states, "He made darkness his hiding place." It is also written in Psalm 97:2, "Cloud and shadow surround him." This is an apparent contradiction. A third verse comes and reconciles the two. It is written in Psalms 139:12, "Even darkness is not dark to you. Night shines like day. Light and darkness are the same." Rabbi Barakiah said, "It is written in Genesis 1:2, the earth was chaos, tohu, and desolation, buhu." What is the meaning of the word "was" in this verse? This indicates that the chaos existed previously and primordially. What is chaos? Tuhu, something that confounds taha people. What is desolation? Buhu. It is something that has substance. This is the reason that it is called Buhu, that is, Buhu. It is in it. Why does the Torah begin with the letter Bet? In order that it begin with a blessing, Barak Ha. How do we know that the Torah is called a blessing? Because it is written in Deuteronomy 33:23, the filling is God's blessing, possessing the sea and the south. The sea is nothing other than the Torah, as it is written in Job 11:9. It is wider than the sea. What is the meaning of the verse? The filling is God's blessing. This means that wherever we find the letter Bet, it indicates a blessing. It is thus written in Genesis 1:1, "In the beginning, Bet Reshit, God created the heaven and the earth." The word beginning, Reshit, is nothing other than wisdom. It is thus written in Psalms 111, verse 10, "The beginning is wisdom, the fear of God." Wisdom is a blessing, as it is thus written, "And God blessed Solomon." It is furthermore written in 1 Kings 5:26, "And God gave wisdom to Solomon." This resembles a king who marries his daughter to his son. He gives her to him at the wedding and says to him, "Do with her as you desire." How do we know that the word barakah, blessing, comes from the word baruch, to be blessed? Perhaps it comes from the word barik, knee. It is written in Isaiah 44:23, "For to me shall every knee bend." The place to which every knee bends. What example does this resemble? People want to see the king, but do not know where to find his house. Beit. First they ask, "Where is the king's house?" Only then can they ask, "Where is the king?" It is thus written, "For to me shall every knee bend, even the highest, every tongue shall swear." Rabbi Rahumieh sat and expounded further. What is the meaning of the verse Deuteronomy 33:23? The filling is God's blessing, possessing the sea and the south. This means that wherever we find the letter Bet, it is blessed. This is the filling referred to in the verse. The filling is God's blessing. From there it nourishes those who need it. It was from this filling that God sought advice. What example does this resemble? A king wanted to build his palace among great cliffs. He mined into the bedrock and uncovered a great spring of living water. The king then said, "Since I have flowing water, I will plant a garden. Then I will delight in it, and so will all the world." It is therefore written in Proverbs 8:30, "I was with him as a craftsman. I was his delight for a day, frolicking before him at every time." The Torah is saying, For 2,000 years I was in the bosom of the Blessed Holy One as his delight. The verse therefore says, a day, a day. Each day of the Blessed Holy One is 1,000 years, as it is written in Psalms 94. 1,000 years in your eyes is as but yesterday when it is past. From then on, it is at times, as the verse states, at every time. The rest is for the world. It is thus written in Isaiah 48:9. I will exhale my praise through my nose for you. What is the meaning of my praise? As it is written in Psalm 145:2, a praise of David, I will raise you high. Why is this a praise? Because I will raise you high. And what is this elevation? Because I will bless your name for the world and forever. What is blessing? It can be explained with an example. A king planted trees in his garden. It may rain and water them, and the ground may be wet and provide them with moisture, but still he must water them from the spring. It is thus written in Psalms 111, verse 10. The beginning is wisdom, the fear of God, good intelligence to all who do them. You may think that it lacks something. It is therefore written, his praise endures forever. Rabbi Amorai sat and expounded. What is the meaning of the verse in Deuteronomy 33:23? The filling is God's blessing, possessing the sea and the south. Moses was saying, if you follow my decrees, you will inherit both this world and the next. The world to come is likened to the sea. As it is written in Job 11:9, it is wider than the sea. The present world is referred to as the sea. It is thus written in Joshua 15:19, for you have set me in the land of the south, therefore give me springs of water. The Targum translates, behold, the earth is the south. Why did God add the letter He to Abraham's name, rather than any other letter? This was so that all parts of man's body should be worthy of life in the world to come, which is likened to the sea. To the extent that we can express it, the structure was completed in Abraham. It is written in Genesis 9:6, for in the form of God he made the man. The numerical value of Abraham is 248, the number of parts in man's body. What is the meaning of Deuteronomy 33:23? The filling is God's blessing, the sea and the south, he shall inherit it. It would have been sufficient if the verse said, Ra-sh. But this comes to teach us that God must also be included. The words Yi-Ra-sh-He thus contains the letters Resh-Shin, Yod, meaning inherit God. What does this resemble? A king had 2 treasuries, and he hid one away. After many days, he said to his son, take what is in these 2 treasuries. The son replied, perhaps you are not giving me all that you have hidden away. The king said, take everything. It is thus written, the sea and the south shall inherit it. Inherit God. Yud Resh Shin. Everything will be given to you if you only keep my ways. Rabbi Bun said, what is the meaning of the verse in Proverbs 8:23? I was set up from eternity, mi olam, from a head before the earth. What is the meaning of from eternity, mi olam? This means that it must be concealed, he elam, from the world. It is thus written in Ecclesiastes 3:11, he has also placed the world, ha-olam, in their hearts, that they should not find out the work that God has done from the beginning to the end. Do not read ha-olam, the world, but he-elam, concealment. The Torah said, I was first so that I might be the head of the world. It is thus written, I was set up from eternity, from ahead. You may think that the earth was before it. It is therefore written, before the earth. It is thus written in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning created God the heaven and the earth. What is the meaning of created? He created everything that was needed for all things. And then God. Only after that is it written, the heaven and the earth. What is the meaning of the verse in Ecclesiastes 7:14? Also, one opposite the other was made by God. He created desolation, bohu, and placed it in peace, and he created chaos, tohu, and placed it in evil. Desolation is in peace, as it is written in Job 25:2. He makes peace in his high places. This teaches us that Michael, the prince to God's right, is water and hail, while Gabriel, the prince to God's left, is fire. The two are reconciled by the Prince of Peace. This is the meaning of the verse. He makes peace in his high places. How do we know that chaos is an evil? It is written in Isaiah 45:7. He makes peace and creates evil. How does this come out? Evil is from chaos, while peace is from desolation. He thus created chaos and placed it in evil. As it is written, he makes peace and creates evil. He created desolation and placed it in peace. As it is written, he makes peace in his high places. Rabbi Bun also sat and expounded further. What is the meaning of the verse in Isaiah 45:7? He forms light and creates darkness. Light has substance, therefore the term formation is used with regard to it. Darkness has no substance, and therefore with regard to it the term creation is used. It is similarly written in Amos 4:12. He forms mountains and creates the wind. Another explanation is this. Light was actually brought into existence, as it is written in Genesis 1:3, and God said, "Let there be light." Something cannot be brought into existence unless it is made. The term formation is therefore used. In the case of darkness, however, there was no making, only separation and setting aside. It is for this reason that the term created, bara, is used. It has the same sense as in the expression, that person became well, he bria. Why is the letter bet closed on all sides and open in the front? This teaches us that it is the house, bayit, of the world. God is the place of the world, and the world is not his place. Do not read bet, but bayit. It is thus written in Proverbs 24:3, with wisdom the house is built, with understanding it is established. What does bet resemble? It is like a man, formed by God with wisdom. He is closed on all sides, but open in front. The aleph, however, is open from behind. This teaches us that the tail of the bet is open from behind. If not for this, man could not exist. Likewise, if not for the bet on the tail of the aleph, the world could not exist. Rabbi Rahumai said, illumination preceded the world, since it is written in Psalms 97:2, cloud and shadow surround him. It is thus written in Genesis 1:3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. They said to him, before the creation of Israel, your son, will you then make him a crown? He replied, yes. What does this resemble? A king yearned for a son. One day, he found a beautiful, precious crown, and he said, this is fitting for my son's head. They said to him, are you then certain that your son will be worthy of this crown? He replied, be still. This is what arises in thought. It is thus written in 2 Samuel 14:14. He thinks thoughts that none should be cast away. Part 2. The Aleph Bet. And I see Victory822. Thanks so much for joining the channel on the TikTok live stream. Love the comment. Thanks so much for the words of encouragement there. I also see 450 likes. Thanks everyone for the likes. That helps the algorithms know you enjoy the content. So I appreciate the support and the kind words of encouragement. Part 2 of the Sefer Bahir, the Aleph Bet. Rabbi Amorai sat and expounded. Why is the letter Aleph in the beginning? Because it was before everything, even the Torah. Why does Bet follow it? Because it was first. Why does it have a tail? To point to the place from which it comes. Some say from the world where it is sustained. Why is Gimel third? It has 3 parts, teaching us that it bestows Gamel, kindness. But did Rabbi Akiba not say that Gimel has 3 parts because it bestows, grows, and sustains? It is thus written in Genesis 21:8, the lad grew and was bestowed. He said, he says the same as I do. He grew and bestowed kindness to his neighbors and to those entrusted to him. And why is there a tail at the bottom of Gimel? He said, the Gimel has a head on top and is like a pipe. And just like a pipe, the Gimel draws from above through its head and disperses through its tail. This is the Gimel. Rabbi Yochanan said, the angels were created on the 2nd day. It is therefore written in Psalms 104:3. He rafters his upper chambers with water. He makes the clouds his chariot. He walks on the wings of the wind. It is then written in Psalms 104:4, he makes the winds his angels, his ministers from flaming fire. Briefly, I do see an inquiry from Neil the Cloud. Neil the Cloud, are you a Christian? That's a great question. I don't enjoy very high level labels. However, I will say I definitely would subscribe to the very early Christian ideology before even the orthodoxy or denominations like Catholicism and Protestant or Baptist Pentecostal beliefs came into existence. But I certainly am sympathetic and subscribe to the early Christian Gnostic ideology. And flying things shall fly upon the firmament of heaven. Genesis 1:20. Regarding the angels, it is also written in Isaiah 6:2. With 2 wings did they fly. Rabbi Levatas ben Tavras said, all agree, even Rabbi Yochanan, that the water already existed on the 1st day, but it was on the 2nd day that he rafters his upper chambers with water. The one who makes the clouds his chariot, and the one who walks on the wings of the wind, but his messengers were not created until the 5th day. All agree that none were created on the 1st day. It should therefore not be said that Michael drew out the heaven at the south, and Gabriel drew it out at the north, while God arranged things in the middle. It is thus written in Isaiah 44:24, I am God. I make all. I stretch out the heavens alone. The earth is spread out before me. Me iti. Who was with me? I am the one who planted this tree in order that all the world should delight in it, and in it I spread all. I called it all because all depend upon it, and all emanate from it, and all need it. To it they look, for it they wait, and from it souls fly in joy. Alone was I made from it. Let no angel rise above it and say, I was before you. I was also alone when I spread out my earth, in which I planted and rooted this tree. I made them rejoice together, and I rejoiced in them. Who was with me? To whom have I revealed this mystery? Rabbi Ruhamai said, from your words, you could conclude that the needs of this world were created before the heavens. He answered, yes. And for the inquiries as well, I see Neil the Cloud asking about my thoughts on Jonah. Once I'm through this reading, I'm certainly happy to espouse on Jonah. And Victory 822 inquires about the text itself. This is the Sefer Bahir. The reason I am reading the Sefer Bahir is through reading on the Jewish Learning Center about reincarnation. This is very similar to the Zorah, or the kabbalistic material that has some deep esoteric meaning behind it. And these rabbis certainly were under the ideology that reincarnation is evident in the Torah and throughout the entire Old Testament, certainly in Job chapter 1. And so they recommended the Sefer Bahir, which is what we're reading right now, and that is why we're reading it. Moving on. He dug and opened a well, flowing with living water. He then planted the tree, and it stood, giving forth fruit. It was successfully rooted, since it was always watered from the well. Rabbi Yanai said, "The earth was created first, as it is written in Genesis 2:4. On the day that God made earth and heaven, they said to him, 'It is not written, Genesis 1:1, in beginning God created the heaven and the earth.' He replied, 'What is this like?' A king bought a beautiful object, but since it was not complete, he did not give it a name. He said, 'I will complete it. I will prepare its pedestal and attachment, and then I will give it a name.' It is thus written in Psalm 102:26, 'From eternity you founded the earth, and then the heavens are the work of your hands.' It is furthermore written, Psalms 104:2, 'He covered himself with light like a garment. He spread out the heaven like a curtain. He rafters his upper chambers with water.' It is then written in Psalm 104:4, 'He makes the winds his angels, his ministers of flaming fire.' Finally, it is written in Psalm 104:5, 'He founded the earth on its pedestals, that it not be removed for the world and forever. When he made its pedestal, he strengthened it. It is therefore written, that it not be moved. What is its name? And forever, Vu'ed is its name, and its pedestal is world, Olam. It is therefore written, for the world and forever." I see another inquiry here from Neil the Cloud. Is it the beginning or a beginning? Believe it or not, it's actually neither. It's actually in beginning. So believe it or not, that word the and a can both be scrapped out. It's just simply in beginning Elohim. So that Barut, it's just in beginning Elohim created the heavens and the earth. So it actually doesn't say in the or in a, it just says in beginning. Great question. Rabbi Barakiah said, "What is the meaning of the verse in Genesis 1:3? And God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light. Why does the verse not say, 'And it was so'? What is this like? A king had a beautiful object. He puts it away until he had a place for it, and then he put it there. It is therefore written, 'Let there be light,' and there was light. This indicates that the light already existed." Rabbi Amorai said, "What is the meaning of the verse in Exodus 15:3? God is a man of war." Mar Rahumai said to him, "Great master, do not ask about something that is so simple. Listen to me, and I will advise you." He said to him, "What is this like?" A king had a number of beautiful dwellings, and he gave each one a name. One was better than all the others. He said, "I will give my son this dwelling, whose name is Aleph. This one, whose name is Yod, is also good, as is this one, whose name is Shin." What did he do then? He gathered all three together, and out of them he made a single name and a single house. He said, "How long will you continue to conceal your meaning?" The other replied, "My son Aleph is the head, Yod is the second to it. Shin includes all the world." "Why does Shin include all the world?" because with it one writes an answer, ta shu va. And briefly, I will just mention what's fascinating here is, according to this kabbalistic material, the three mother letters is actually Aleph, Yod, Shin. While in modern kabbalistic tradition, in the Hebrew alphabet, the three mother letters are, of course, Aleph, Shin, Mem. Okay, so pretty interesting there. And you can actually see that discrepancy as well if you're reading Agrippa, because Agrippa also has the same three mother letters as the Sefer Bahir. Pretty interesting. The student asked him, "What is the letter Dalet?" He replied, "What is this like? 10 kings were in a certain place. All of them were wealthy, but one was not quite as wealthy as the others. Even though he is still very wealthy, he is poor, Dal, in relation to the others." They said to him, "What is the letter He?" He grew angry and said, "Did I not teach you not to ask about a later thing and then about an earlier thing?" They said, "But He comes after Dalet." He replied, "The order should be Gimel He." Why is it Gimel Dalet? Because it must be Dalet He. And why is the order Gimel Dalet? He said to them, "Gimel is in the place of Dalet. On its head, it is in the place of He. Dalet, with its tail, is in place of the He." "What is the letter Vav?" he said. "There is an upper He and a lower He." He said to him, "What is Vav?" He said, "The world was sealed with 6 directions." They said, "It is not Vav, a single letter." And of course, 6 directions, right? North, east, south, west, and then we have up, down, right? He replied, "It is written in Psalm 104:2, He wraps himself in light as a garment. He spreads out the heavens like a curtain." Rabbi Amorai asked, "Where is the Garden of Eden?" He replied, "It is on earth." Rabbi Ishmael expounded to Rabbi Akiba, "What is the meaning of the verse in Genesis 1:1? In beginning God created the heaven and the earth." Why is the word et added in both places? If the word et were absent, we would think that heaven and earth were God's. He replied by the divine service, "You may have reached out for the true meaning, but you have not sorted out, and therefore you speak in this manner. But as to the heavens plural, the word et comes to include the sun, the moon, the stars, and the constellations, while for the earth, et, it comes to add trees, plants, and also the Garden of Eden." And Neil the Cloud inquires too, why do the up-down count? That's a great question. Probably just for, well, I think it's partly because they're making the case it's the 6th letter of the alphabet. And so they're just trying to correlate that, I think, to the number 6. And so you can go backwards, forwards, right, left, up, down. I think that's kind of what the significance is that they're trying to make there. I don't know, though, if my answer is accurate. So a rabbi would be a better person to ask. So in the spirit of transparency, it's a great question. I'm not sure of the answer. They said to him, "It is written in Lamentations 2:1, He threw the beauty of Israel from heaven to earth. From here we see that it fell." He replied, "If you have read, you did not review, and if you reviewed, you did not go over it a 3rd time. What does it resemble? A king had a beautiful crown on his head and a beautiful cloak on his shoulders. When he heard evil tidings, he cast the crown from his head and the cloak from his shoulders." They asked him, "Why is the letter chet open? And why is its vowel point a small patak?" He said, "Because all directions are closed except for the north, which is opened for good and for evil." They said, "How can you say that it is for good? It is not written in Ezekiel 1:4, and behold, a stormy wind comes from the north, a great cloud and a burning fire." Fire is nothing other than fierce anger, as it is written in Leviticus 10:2. And fire went out from before God, and it consumed them and killed them. He said, there is no difficulty. One case is speaking of when Israel does the will of God, while the other is speaking of when they do not do his will. When Israel does not do his will, then the fire comes to destroy them. But when they do God's will, then the attribute of mercy encompasses and surrounds it. As it is written in Micah 7:18, he lifts up sin and passes over rebellion. What is this like? A king wanted to punish and whip his slaves. One of his governors stood up and asked the reason for the punishment. When the king described the offense, the governor said, "Your slaves never did such a thing. I will be their bondsman until you have a chance to investigate it more thoroughly." In the meantime, the king's anger was calmed. His student asked, "Why is the letter Dalet thick on the side?" He replied, "Because of the seagull, which is in the small patak. It is thus written in Psalms 24:7, the openings of the world. There he placed a patak above and a seagull below. It is for this reason that it is thick." What is the patak? It is an opening. What is meant by an opening? This is the direction of north, which is open to all the world. It is the gate from which all good and evil emerge. And what is good? He mocked them and did say, "Did I not tell you that it is a small patak or opening?" They said, "We have forgotten. Teach us again." He reviewed it and said, "What is this like? A king had a throne. Sometimes he carried it on his arm, and sometimes on his head. They asked him why, and he replied, 'Because it is beautiful, and it is a pity to sit on it.' They asked, 'Where did he place it on his head?' He replied, 'In the open, Mem. It is thus written in Psalm 85:12, truth sprouts up from the earth, and the righteousness looks down from the heavens.'" Rabbi Amorai sat and expounded, "What is the meaning of the verse? Psalms 87:2. God loves the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. The gates of Zion are the openings of the world. A gate is nothing more than an opening. We thus say, 'Open for us the gate of mercy.' God said, 'I love the gate of Zion when they are open.' Why? Because they are on the side of evil. But when Israel does good before God and are worthy that good be opened for them, then God loves them more than all the dwellings of Jacob. They are all peace. It is written in Genesis 25:27, Jacob was a simple man, dwelling in tents. This is like two men, one who is inclined to do evil and does good, and the other who is inclined to do good and does evil. Who is praiseworthy? The one who is inclined to do evil and does good, for he may do good again. It is therefore written in Psalms 87:2, God loves the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. These are all peace, as it is written in Genesis 25:27, Jacob was a simple man, dwelling in tents. His students asked, "What is kalam?" He replied, "It is the soul, and its name is kalam. If you listen to it, your body will be vigorous, kalam, in the ultimate future. But if you rebel against it, there will be sickness, koleh, on your head, and disease, kolem, on its head." They also said, "Every dream, kolam, is in the kolem. Every white precious stone is in the kolem. It is thus written in Exodus 28:19, a white stone, kolem." He said to them, "Come and hear the fine points regarding the vow points found in the Torah of Moses." He sat and expounded, "Chirek hates evildoers and punishes them. Its side includes jealousy, hatred, and competition. It is thus written in Psalms 37:12, he gnashes korek, his teeth at them. Do not read korek, gnashes, but roshkek, repels. Repel, rakek. these traits from yourselves and repel yourself from evil. Good will then certainly attach itself to you. Correct. Do not read correct, but correct. Ice. Whatever the ice touches becomes ice. It is thus written in Exodus 34:7, and cleanses. What is the indication that correct has the connotation of burning? This is because it is fire that burns all fire. It is thus written in 1 Kings 18:38, and God's fire fell, and it consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, the dust, and evaporated the water that was in the trenches. Part 3 of the Sefer Bahir, the 7 voices in the sefirot. And briefly, for those on the live stream, if you are wondering about the sefirot, keep in mind this is kabbalistic material, so this is the tree of life. If this is your first time encountering the tree of life, we have Kether at the crown of the tree of life, and if we follow the middle pillar, we have Tiphareth, we have Yesod, and then we have Malkut. On the left-hand path, we have Hod, which is splendor, Gabora, strength, and Bina. Okay, and then on the right-hand path, we have Hakma, we have Hased, and then we have Natzak. All right, the 7 voices in the sefirot. He said, what is the meaning of the verse in Exodus 20:15? And all the people saw the voices. These are the voices regarding which King David spoke. It is thus written in Psalm 29:3. The voice of God is upon the waters. The God of glory thunders. And Psalm 29:4. The voice of God comes in strength. Regarding this, it is written, Isaiah 10:13. By the strength of my hand have I done it. It is likewise written in Isaiah 48:13. Also my hand has formed the earth. Next, Psalms 29:4. The voice of God is with majesty. It is also written in Psalm 1:1 verse 3, splendor and majesty are his works. His righteousness stands forever. Subsequently, in Psalms 29:5, God's voice breaks the cedars. This is the bow that breaks the cypress and cedar tree. And then in Psalms 29:7, God's voice draws out flames of fire. This is what makes peace between water and fire. It draws out the power of the fire and prevents it from evaporating the water. It also prevents water from extinguishing it. The 6th is in Psalms 29:8. God's voice shakes the desert. It is thus written in Psalms 18:51. He does kindness to his Messiah, to David and his descendants until eternity, more than when the Hebrews were in the desert. The next voice is in Psalms 29:9. God's voice makes hinds to calf, strips the forest bare, and in his temple all say glory. It is thus written in Song of Songs 2:7. I bind you with an oath, O daughters of Jerusalem, with the hosts, or with the hinds of the field. This teaches us that the Torah was given with 7 voices. In each of them, the Master of the universe revealed himself to them, and they saw him. It is thus written, and all the people saw the voices. One verse states in 2 Samuel 22:10, he bent the heavens and came down with gloom under his feet. Another verse in Exodus 19:20 states, and God came down on Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain. Still, another verse, however, in Exodus 20:22 states, from heaven I spoke to you. How could this be reconciled? His great fire was on earth, and this was one voice. The other voice was in heaven. It is thus written in Deuteronomy 4:36. From the heavens he let you hear his voice, that he might instruct you. And on the earth he showed you his great fire, and his words you heard from the fire. Which fire was that? It was the great fire. That was on the earth. And from where did the speech emanate? From this fire, as it was written, and his words you heard from the fire. I see another inquiry here on the live stream from Neil. Is our point to reach become the rebus? No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Although I would say that could be a noble aim. In my estimation, I think that the best way of approaching such esoteric concepts such as this is to think of it like musical instruments. You know, the journey isn't to get from Malkuth, the earth, to Kether, the crown. The goal isn't to get to abstraction, the crown. The goal, it's like music, playing music. The goal, if the point in music was to get to the end of the song as swiftly as possible, music conductors would have one beat to the whole song, and then it would be over, and it would be a wonderful song, right? Like Pythagoras. Actually, yes. Like the tetrads of Pythagoras, which actually the early Christian Gnostics also used. There's triads as well in the Tree of Life, very similar to Pythagoras' tetrads, very, very similar actually. Even the petals of the symbol for Metatron, or the flowers of the Tree of Life, you can actually see those as well as the Tree of Life. But I don't want to lose myself into the weeds of this point. Briefly, I will just say, the point isn't to get to the destination. The point is to enjoy the journey. The point of music is you enjoy all the parts of the music. You enjoy the clashes, you enjoy the harmony, you enjoy the parts that are beautiful. You might feel suspense at the parts that are suspenseful. It's the journey through it that makes it exciting. It's the same with many other pursuits as well. So anyways, but the point is you play music too. You don't work music. I think it's worth saying as well. You play life. You got to enjoy life. You enjoy all the moments of life. What the Tree of Life does, though, keep in mind, we're made in the image of God. The Tree of Life lets you rationalize by the divine by meditating on one aspect of the divine at a time, because some parts of the divine are entirely in contradiction of each other, but it enables the reconciliation of them. For example, severity and mercy. Sometimes the divine acted with justice, severity, other times with mercy. Well, that's incompatible. Mercy is not severity, but yet the divine acted in both ways. Being able to operate in a polarity of both is a very healthy thing. And that's why the middle pillar is, they say, the quickest way to ascend to the divine. It's also in Aristotle's golden mean, right? It's good to be able to, as Nietzsche says, hold two opposing ideologies in your head at the same time and know when it's best to act accordingly. One doesn't need to be an extreme of everything. It's very similar as well to Eastern ideology. But anyways, I'm trying to think of the way of the Tao. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Again, in the Eastern system of the Asian ideology, which is absolutely brilliant and highly compatible. Anyways, moving on, but great question there. What is the meaning of the verse in Deuteronomy 4:12? You saw no form, only a voice. This was explained when Moses said to Israel in Deuteronomy 4:15, you did not see an entire image. You saw an image, but not the entire image. What is this like? A king stands before his servants wrapped in a white robe. Even though he is far away, they can still hear his voice. This is true even though they cannot see his throat when he speaks. In a similar manner, they saw an image, but not an entire image. It is therefore written, you saw no form, only a voice. It is also written in Deuteronomy 4:12, a voice of words you heard. One verse in Exodus 20:15 states, and all the people saw the voices. Another verse, however, in Deuteronomy 4:12 states, the voice of words you heard. How can this be? At first they saw the voice. What did they see? the 7 voices were mentioned by David. But in the end, they heard the word that emanated from them all. But we have learned that there were 10. Our sages taught us that they were all said with a single word. But we have said that there were 7. There were 7 voices. Regarding 3 of them, it is written in Deuteronomy 4:12, "The voice of words you heard, but you saw no form, only a voice." This teaches us that they were all said with a single word. This is so that Israel should not make a mistake and say, "Others helped him." It might have been only one of the angels, but his voice alone could not be so powerful. It was for this reason that he came back and included them. Another explanation, it was so that the world should not say that since there were 10 sayings for 10 kings, it might be that he could not speak for them all through one. He therefore said in Exodus 22, "I am," which included all 10. What are the 10 kings? They are the 7 voices and 3 sayings. Arim. What are the sayings? It is written in Deuteronomy 26:18. God has said for you today. What are the 3? In Proverbs 4:7. The beginning is wisdom. Acquire wisdom. With all your acquisition, acquire understanding. It is thus written in Job 32:8. The soul of Shaddai gives them understanding. The soul of Shaddai is what gives them understanding. What is the 3rd one? As the old man said to the child, "What is hidden from you, do not seek, and what is concealed from you, do not probe. Where you have authority, seek to understand, but you have nothing to do with mysteries." Brilliant. We have learned in Proverbs 25:2, the glory of God is to hide a word. What is a word? That of which it is written in Psalms 119:160. The beginning of your word is truth. Also in Proverbs 25:2, the glory of kings is to probe a word. What is this word? That of which it is written in Proverbs 25:11, a word spoken in its proper place, aphen av. Do not read its proper place, aphen av, but its wheel, ophen av. The students asked, "Rabbi, Barik ha, let us discuss these words with you." But you would not give them permission. Once, however, he did give them permission, but he did so to test them, to see if they would now pay good attention. One day, he tested them and said, "Let me hear your wisdom." They began and said, "In the beginning is one." The second, Isaiah 57:16. The spirit that unwraps itself is from me, and I have made souls. The third, Psalms 65:10. The divisions of God are filled with water. What are these divisions? You taught us, our master, that God took the waters of creation and separated them, placing half in the sky and half in the ocean. This is the meaning of the divisions of God are filled with water. Through them, man studies the Torah. Rabbi Kama thus taught, because of the merit of deeds of kindness, a person can study the Torah. It is thus written in Isaiah 55 verse 1, Ho, let all who are thirsty come for water. Let him without silver come, stock up and eat. Go to him, and he will do kindness with you, and you will say, stock up and eat. Let him without silver come can also be explained in another way. Let him come to God, for he has silver. It is thus written in Haggai 2:8, Mine is the silver, and mine is the gold. What is the meaning of the verse, mine is the silver, and mine is the gold? What is this like? A king had 2 treasuries, one of silver and one of gold. He placed that of silver to his right and that of gold to his left. He said, This should be ready and easy to take out. He keeps his words calm. He is attached to the poor and directs them calmly. It is thus written in Exodus 15:6. Your right hand, O God, is mighty in power. If he rejoices in his portion, then all is well. If not, then Exodus 15:6. Your right hand, O God, crumbles the enemy. He said to them, this is referring to gold. It is thus written, mine is the silver, mine is the gold. Why is gold called zahav? Because it includes three attributes. Male, zakar, this is the Zion. The second is the soul, this is the hay. Which, with the five names of the soul, Nefesh, Reish, Neshama, Chaya, and Yakida. What is the purpose of hay? It is the throne for Zion. It is thus written in Ecclesiastes 5:7, for one above the other watches. The bet is in its sustenance. It is thus written in Genesis 1:1, in bet, beginning God created. In beginning God created. What is its function here? What is it like? A king once had a daughter who was good, pleasant, beautiful, perfect. He married her to a royal prince, clothed and crowned and bejeweled her, giving her much money. Is it possible for the king to ever leave his daughter? You will agree that it is not. Is it possible for him to do with her constantly? You will also agree that it is not. What can he then do? He can place a window between the two, and whenever the father needs the daughter or the daughter needs the father, they can come together through the window. It is thus written in Psalm 45:14. All glorious is the king's daughter inside. Her garment is interwoven with gold. What is the bet at the end? It is written in Proverbs 24:3. With wisdom will the house by it be built. The verse does not say was built, but will be built. In the future, God will build and decorate. Thousands of times more than it was. It is as we have said. Why does the Torah begin with bet? As it is written in Proverbs 8:30. I was with him as a craftsman. I was his delight for a day, a day. These are the 2,000 years, which are the beginning too, but the scripture says 7. As it is written in Isaiah 30:26, the light of the moon shall be like the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold. And we said, just like the sun was for 7, so the moon was for 7. He responded, I said thousands. Verse 56. They said to him, up until now there are 5. What comes next? He replied, first I will explain gold. What is gold? We learn that it is where justice emanates. If you bend your words to the right or left, you will be punished. What is the meaning of the verse? Isaiah 30:26. The light of the moon shall be like the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, like the light of 7 days. The verse does not say 7 days, but the 7 days. These are the days regarding which it is written in Exodus 31:17. For 6 days God created. As you said, God made 6 beautiful vessels. What are they? The heaven and the earth. Are they not 7? Yes, as it is written. And on the 7th day, he rested and sold. What is the meaning of sold? This teaches us that the Sabbath sustains all souls. It is therefore written that it sold. Another explanation, this teaches us that it is from there that the soul flies forth. It is thus written, and he sold. This continues for 1,000 generations. It is thus written in Psalms 105:8, the word that he commanded until 1,000 generations. Immediately after this, it says, the covenant that he cut with Abraham. I do see an inquiry on the live stream here. Victory822 inquires, what is your live stream schedule? Q&A session at the end? I don't want to interrupt. Great question. Typically on the live stream, I do readings publicly on weekends, on Friday nights, Saturday and Sunday, and then I do reviews of books on weekdays that I can't read because of copyright live, so I just review the books. Also, is this reading on YouTube? I found you via the Sefer ha-Razim reading. Yeah, so I have readings of the Sefer Yetzirah, the Sefer ha-Razim. The Sefer Bahir will also be on my YouTube channel. It's worth mentioning as well on my YouTube channel. I have the 4 holy Vedas of the Hindus. I have the Buddhist Tripitaka. I have read through the Quran. I eventually want to publish the Quran with commentary. I'll eventually would love to have the entire Bible. I have works as Why is heaven called Shamayim? This teaches that God needed fire and water and combined them together. From this, he made the beginning of his word. It is thus written, Psalms 119, 160, the beginning of your word is truth. It is therefore called Shamayim, Sham-mayim. There is water, Esh-mayim, fire water. He said to them, this is the meaning of the verse, Job 25:2. He makes peace in his heights. He placed peace and love between them. May he also place peace and love among us. We also say Psalms 119, 164, 7 times each day, I praised you for your righteous judgment. They asked him, what are they? He replied, you do not look at it carefully. Be precise and you will find them. They asked him, what is the letter Zadi? He said, Zadi is a nun and a yod. Its mate is also a nun and a yod. It is thus written, Proverbs 10:25. The righteous, Zadik, is the foundation of the world. They asked him, what is the meaning of the verse, Numbers 23:14, and he took him to the field of the seers? What is the field of the seers? As it is written in Song of Songs 7:12, come, my beloved, let us go out to the field. Do not read Sedeh, the field, but Sedah, carriage. What is this carriage? He said, the heart of the Blessed Holy One. His heart said to the Blessed Holy One, come, my beloved, let us go out to the carriage to stroll. It will not constantly sit in one place. What is his heart? He said, if so, Ben Zoma is outside, and you are with him. The heart, Lev, numbered is 32. These are concealed, and with them the world was created. What, these 32? He said, these are the 32 paths. This is like a king who was in the innermost of many chambers. The number of such chambers was 32, and to each one there was a path. Should the king then bring everyone to his chamber through these paths? You will agree that he should not. Should he reveal his jewels, his tapestries, his hidden and concealed secrets? You will again agree that he should not. What then does he do? He touches the daughter and includes all the paths in her and in her garments. One who wants to go inside should gaze there. He married her to a king and also gave her to him as a gift because of his love for her. He sometimes calls her my sister, since they are both from one place. Sometimes he calls her his daughter, since she is actually his daughter, and sometimes he calls her my mother. Furthermore, if there is no wisdom, then there is no justice. It is thus written in 1 Kings 5:26, and God gave wisdom to Solomon. He then judged the case of the dispute of 2 mothers correctly, and it is then written in 1 Kings 3:28, in all of Israel, of the judgment that the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they say that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. And what wisdom did God give to Solomon? Solomon had God's name. We have thus said that whenever Solomon is mentioned in the Song of Songs, it is a holy name, except in one case. God said to him, "Since your name is like the name of my glory, I will let you marry my daughter." But she is married. Let us say that he gave her to him as a gift. It is thus written, 1 Kings 5:26, and God gave wisdom to Solomon. Here, however, it is not explained. Where then is it explained? When the scripture states in 1 Kings 3:28, "For they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment." We then see that the wisdom that God gave him was such that he could do judgment. What is the meaning of to do judgment? As long as a person does judgment, God's wisdom is inside him. This is what helps him and draws him near. If not, it repels him. And not only that, but it also punishes him. It is thus written in Leviticus 26:28, "I will chastise you, also I." And Rabbi Rahumai said, what is the meaning of verse Leviticus 26:28? And God said, "I will chastise you." The congregation of Israel said, "Do not think that I will seek mercy for you, but I will chastise you. Not only will I render judgment, but I will also chastise you." What is the meaning of Leviticus 26:28? 7 for your sins? The congregation of Israel said, "I will chastise you, also I." And also those regarding which it is written in Psalm 119:164, 7 each day I praised you. They joined her and replied, "Also us 7, even though among us is the one who reverses itself, the one who oversees good and merit. We too will reverse ourselves and chastise." Why? Because of your sins. But if you return to me, then I will return to you. It is thus written in Malachi 3:7, "Return to me, and I will return to you." The scripture does not say, "I will bring you back to me." Instead it says, "I will return to you, with you." We will all seek mercy from the king. What did the king say? Jeremiah 3:22, "Return, you backsliding children. I will heal your backslidings." And Ezekiel 18:30, "Return and bring back." What is the meaning of the verse, return and bring back? Come back and ask those 7 to return with you. The scripture therefore says, "and bring back," those regarding which it is written, 7 for your sins. The disciples asked Rabbi Rahumai, what is the meaning of the verse in Habakkuk 3:1? A prayer of Habakkuk the prophet for errors. A prayer? It should be called a praise. But whoever turns his heart from worldly affairs and delves in the works of the chariot is accepted before God as if he prayed all day. It is therefore called a prayer. What is the meaning for errors? It is written in Proverbs 5:19, "With its love you shall always err." Regarding what is this speaking? The works of the chariot, as it is written in Habakkuk 3:2, "O God, I heard a report of you, and I feared." What is the meaning of, "I heard a report of you, and I feared"? Why does the verse say, "I feared," after I heard a report of you, and not after in the midst of the years? But it was from the report of you that I feared. What is the report of you? It is the place where they listen to reports. Why does the verse say, "I heard," and not, "I understood"? As we find in Deuteronomy 38:49, "A nation whose language you do not hear." Why did he say, "I feared"? Because the ear looks like the letter Aleph. The Aleph is the first of all letters. Besides this, the Aleph causes all the letters to endure. The Aleph looks like the brain. When you mention the Aleph, you open your mouth. The same is true of thought. When you extend your thought to the infinite and boundless, from Aleph emanates all letters. Do we not see that it is first? It is thus written, Micah 2:13, God, Yod He Vav He, is at their head. We have a rule that every name that is written Yod He Vav He is specific to the Blessed Holy One and is sanctified with holiness. What is the meaning of with holiness? This is the holy palace. Where is the holy palace? We would say that it is in thought and in Aleph. This is the meaning of the verse, I heard a report of you and I feared. Habakkuk therefore said, I know that my prayer is accepted with delight. I was also delighted when I came to that place where I understood a report of you and I feared. Therefore, bring to life your works in the midst of the years, through your unity. What is this like? A king who is talented, hidden and concealed, went into his house and commanded that no one seek him. One who does seek is therefore afraid, lest the king find out that he has violated the king's order. He therefore said, I feared, O God, bring to life your works in the midst of the years. This is what Habakkuk said, because your name is in you, and you is your name. Bring to life your works in the midst of the years. Thus will it be forever. Another explanation of bring to life your works in the midst of years. What is this like? A king had a beautiful pearl, and it was the treasure of his kingdom. When he is happy, he embraces it, kisses it, places it on his head, and loves it. Habakkuk said, even though kings are with you, the beloved pearl is in your world. Therefore, bring to life your works in the midst of years. What is the meaning of years? It is written in Genesis 1:3, and God said, let there be light. Light is nothing other than day, as it is written in Genesis 1:16, the great light to rule the day, and the small light to rule the night. Years are made from days. It is thus written, bring to life your works in the midst of years, in the midst of that pearl that gives rise to years. But it is written in Isaiah 43:5, I am with you. I will bring your progeny from the east. The sun rises in the east, and you say that the pearl is day. I am only speaking with regard to the verse, Genesis 1:5, and it was evening and it was morning, day. Regarding this, it is written, Genesis 2:4, in the day that God made earth and heaven. And it is written in Psalms 18:12, he made darkness his hiding place round about, his sukkah, the darkness of waters, thick clouds of the skies, Shechakamim. He said, regarding this, it is written in Isaiah 45:8, the skies, Shechakim, pour down righteousness. The righteousness, Zadok, is the attribute of judgment for the world. It is thus written, Deuteronomy 16:20, righteousness, righteousness shall you pursue. Immediately after this, it is written, that you may live and occupy the land. If you judge yourself, then you will live. If not, then it will judge you, and it will be fulfilled, even against your will. Why does the Torah say, righteousness, righteousness, twice? He said, because the scripture continues in Psalm 18:13, at the glow opposite him. The first righteousness is literal righteousness, Zedek. This is the divine presence. It is thus written in Isaiah 1:21, righteousness dwells in it. What is the second righteousness? This is the righteousness that frightens the righteous. Is this righteousness charity, Zadakah, or not? He said that it is not. Why? Because it is written in Isaiah 59:17, he put on righteousness like a coat of mail. His head is nothing other than truth. It is thus written in Psalm 119:160, the head of your word is truth. Truth is nothing other than peace. It is thus written in Isaiah 39:8, there shall be peace and truth in my days. Is it possible for a man to say this? But this is what Hezekiah said, the attribute that you gave to David my ancestor is half of my days, and peace and truth are half of my days. It is for this reason that he mentioned my days. He mentioned both peace and truth, and in my days, since it is all one. It is thus written in Genesis 1:5, and it was evening, and it was morning, one day. Just as the day is peace, so he chose peace. It is therefore written in 2 Kings 20:19, peace and truth shall be my days. This shall be through the attribute that you gave to David. Regarding this, it is written in Psalms 89:37, his throne shall be like the sun before me. What is the meaning of the verse Habakkuk 3:2? In the midst of years, make it known. He said, I know that you are the holy God, as it is written in Exodus 15:11, who is like you, mighty in holiness. Holiness is in you, and you are in holiness. Nevertheless, in the midst of years, make it known. What is the meaning of make it known? It means that you should have mercy. It is thus written in Exodus 2:25, and God saw the children of Israel, and God knew. What is the meaning of God knew? What is this like? A king had a beautiful wife, and had children from her. He loved them and raised them, but they went out to bad ways. He then hated both them and their mother. The mother went to them and said, my children, why did you do this? Why do you make your father hate both you and me? She asked this until they had remorse, and then did the will of their father. When the king saw this, he loved them as much as he did in the beginning. He then also remembered their mother. This is the meaning of the verse, and God saw, and God knew. This is also the meaning of the verse, in the midst of years make it known. What is the meaning of the verse? Habakkuk 3:2, in anger you shall remember love, Racham, or He said, when your children sin before you and you are angry at them, remember love. What is the meaning of remember love? That regarding which it is written, Psalms 18:2, I love Rachem, you, O God, my strength, and you have him this attribute, which is the divine presence of Israel. He recalled his son when he inherited, and whom you gave to him. It is thus written in 1 Kings 5:26, and God gave wisdom to Solomon, and you should remember their father Abraham, as it is written in Isaiah 41:8, the seed of Abraham, my friend, in the midst of years make it known. Where do we see that Abraham had a daughter? It is written in Genesis 24:1, and God blessed Abraham with all Bachol. It is also written in Isaiah 43:7, all that is called by my name, for my glory I created it. I formed it. Also I made it. Was this blessing his daughter, or was it not? Yes, it was his daughter. What is this like? A king had a slave who was complete and perfect before him. The king tested the slave in many ways, but the slave withstood all temptation. The king said, what will I give that slave? What should I do for him? I can do nothing but command my older brother to advise him, watch over him, and honor him. The slave thus went to the older brother and learned his attributes. The brother loved him very much and called him his friend. It is thus written in Isaiah 41:8, the seed of Abraham, my friend. He said, what will I give him? What can I do for him? Behold, I have made a beautiful vessel, and in it are beautiful jewels. There is nothing like it in the treasuries of the king. I will give it to him, and he will be worthy in his place. This is the meaning of the verse, and God blessed Abraham with all. Another explanation, Habakkuk 3:2. I heard a report of you, and I feared, and I understood what was reported about you, and I feared. What did he understand? He understood God's thought. Even thought has no end, for man can think and descend to the end of the world. The ear also has no end, and is not satiated. It is thus written in Ecclesiastes 1:8, the ear is not satiated from hearing. Why is this so? Because the ear is in the shape of an aleph. Aleph is the root of the 10 Commandments. Therefore, the ear is not satiated from hearing. What is the meaning of the letter Zion in the word ozen, ear? We have said that everything that the Blessed Holy One brought into his world has a name emanating from its concept. It is thus written in Genesis 2:19, all that the man called each living soul was its name. This teaches us that each thing's body was thus. And how do we know that each thing's name is its body? It is written in Proverbs 10:7, the memory of the righteous shall be a blessing, and the name of the wicked shall rot. What actually rots? Their name or their body? Here too, its body. What is an example of this? Take the word for root. Shoresh, shin, resh, shin. The letter shin looks like the roots of a tree. The root of every tree is bent. And what is the function of the final shin? This teaches us that if you take a branch and plant it, it will root again. What is the function of the Zion? Its number is 7, corresponding to the 7 days of the week. This teaches us that each day has its own power. And what is its function in Ozen? This teaches us that just like there is infinite wisdom in the ear, so is there power in all parts of the body. What art the 7 parts of man's body? It is written in Genesis 9:6, in the form of God he made man. It is also written in Genesis 1:27, in the form of God he made him, counting all his limbs and parts. But we have said, what does the letter Vav resemble? It is alluded to in the verse Psalm 104:5. He spread out light like a garment. For Vav is nothing other than the 6 directions. He replied, the covenant of circumcision and man's mate are considered as one. His is 2 hands, then make 3, his head and body 5, and his 2 legs make 7. Paralleling, all these are their powers in heaven. It is thus written, Ecclesiastes 7:14, also one opposite the other had God made. These are the days, Exodus 31:17, because 6 days God made the heaven and the earth. The scripture does not say in 6 days, but rather 6 days. This teaches us that each day has its own specific power. What is the significance of the nun? This teaches us that the brain is the main part of the spinal cord. It constantly draws from there, and if not for the spinal cord, the brain could not endure. And without the brain, the body could not endure. The entire body exists only in order to provide for the needs of the brain. And if the body did not endure, then the brain would also not endure. The spinal cord is the channel from the brain to the entire body. It is represented by the bent nun, but in Ozen, the nun is a straight one. The straight nun is the one that is always at the end of a word. This teaches us that the straight nun includes both the bent one and the straight one, but the bent nun is the foundation. This teaches us that the straight nun includes both male and female. The open mem. What is the open mem? It includes both male and female. What is the closed mem? It is made like a belly from above. But Rabbi Rahumi said that the belly is like the letter Teth. He said that it is like a Teth on the inside, or Tet on the inside, while I say that it is like a mem on the outside. What is a mem? Do not read mem, but mayim, water. Just like water is wet, so is the belly always wet. Why does the open mem include both male and female, while the closed mem is male? That would be mem final. This teaches us that the mem is primarily male. The opening was then added to it for the sake of the female. Just like the male cannot give birth, so the closed mem cannot give birth. And just like the female has an opening with which to give birth, so can the open mem give birth. The mem is therefore open and closed. Why should the mem have 2 forms, open and closed? Because we said, do not read mem, but mayim, water. The woman is cold, and therefore must be warmed by the male. Why should the nun have 2 forms, bent and straight? Because it is written in Psalms 72:17, before the sun shall his name reign. Yah nun. From 2 nuns, the bent nun and the straight nun, and it must be through male and female. It is written in Ecclesiastes 1:8, the ear is not satiated from hearing, It is also written in Ecclesiastes 1:8, the eye is not satiated from seeing. This teaches us that both draw from thought. What is the thought? It is a king that is needed by all things and that were created in the world, both above and below. What is the meaning of the expression, it rose in thought? Why do we not say that it descended instead? Indeed, we have said, one who gazes into the vision of the chariot first descends and then ascends. We use the expression there because we say, one who gazes into the vision, Zaphayat, of the chariot. The Aramaic translation of vision, Zaphiyat, is Seuta, a covering. It is also written in Isaiah 21:8, and he called as a lion upon the watchtower, Mizipeh, O God. Here, however, we are speaking of thought and ascent only, for thought does not include any vision, and has no ending whatsoever, and anything that has no end or limit does not have any descent. People therefore say, someone descended to the limit of his friend's knowledge. One can arrive at the limit of a person's knowledge, but not at the limit of his thought. Rabbi Amorai sat and expounded. What is the meaning of the segol? Its name is segolah, treasure. It comes after zarka. What is the meaning of zarka? It is like its name, something that is thrown, ni zarak. It is like something that is thrown, and after it comes, Ecclesiastes 2:8, the treasures of kings and lands. What is the reason that it is called Zarka? It is written in Ezekiel 3:12, blessed is the glory of God from his place. This indicates that no being knows his place. We recite the name of the crown, and it goes to the head of its owner. It is thus written regarding Yod-He, Shin-He, Genesis 14:19, owner of heaven and earth. When it goes, it is like it is thrown, Zarka. Following it is treasure, Segula. It is at the head of all letters. Why is this at the end of a word and not at the beginning? This teaches us that this crown arises higher and higher. It is included and crowned, as it is written in Psalms 118:22. The stone that the builders rejected has become the head cornerstone. It ascended to the place from which it was graven, as it is written in Genesis 49:24. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. He also said, what is the reason that we place blue wool in the zit? And why are there 32 strands? What is this like? A king had a beautiful garden, and in it were 32 paths. He placed a watchman over them to show that all these paths belonged to him alone. He said to him, watch them and walk upon them every day. As long as you walk these paths, you will have peace. So what did the watchman do? He appointed other watchmen over them. He said, if I remain alone on these paths, it is impossible for me, a single watchman, to maintain all of them. Besides that, people may say that I am the king. The watchman therefore placed his assistants over all the paths. These are the 32 paths. What is the reason for the blue? The watchman said, perhaps those assistant watchmen will say that the garden belongs to us. He therefore gave them a sign and told them, see this, it is the sign of the king, indicating that the garden belongs to him. He is the one who made these paths, and they are not mine, they are his. This is his deal. What is this like? A king and his daughter had slaves, and they wanted to travel abroad, but the slaves were afraid, being in terror of the king. He therefore gave them his sign. They were also afraid of the daughter, and she as well gave them a sign. They said, from now on, with these two signs, God will watch you from evil. He will safeguard your soul. Rabbi Amorai sat and expounded. What is the meaning of the verse in 1 Kings 8:27? Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heaven cannot contain you. This teaches us that the Blessed Holy One has 72 names. All of them were placed in the tribes. It is thus written in Exodus 28:10, 6 of their names on one stone, and the names of the other 6 on the other stone, according to their generation. It is also written in Joshua 4:9, he raised up 12 stones. And just like the first are in Exodus 28:12 stones of memorial, so these are in Joshua 4:7 stones of memorial. 12 stones with 6 names each make a total of 72. These parallel the 72 names of the Blessed Holy One. Why do they begin with 12? This teaches us that God has 12 directors. Each of them has 6 powers. What are they? They are the 72 languages. The Blessed Holy One has a single tree, and it has 12 diagonal boundaries: the northeast boundary, the southeast boundary, the upper east boundary, the lower east boundary, the southwest boundary, the northwest boundary, the upper west boundary, the lower west boundary, the upper south boundary, the lower south boundary, the upper north boundary, the lower north boundary. They continually spread forever and ever. They are the arms of the world. On the inside of them is the tree. Paralleling these diagonals, there are 12 functionaries. Inside the sphere, there are also 12 functionaries, including the diagonals themselves. This makes a total of 36 functionaries. Each of these has another. It is thus written in Ecclesiastes 5:7, for one above another watches. It therefore comes out that the east has 9, the west has 9, the north has 9, and the south has 9. These are 12, 12, 12, and they are the functionaries in the axis, the sphere, and the heart. Their total is 36. The power of each of these 36 is in every other one. Even though there are 12 in each of the 3, they are all attached to each other. Therefore, all 36 powers are in the first one, which is the axis. And if you seek them in the sphere, you will find the very same ones. And if you seek them in the heart, you will find the very same ones. Each one, therefore, has 36. All of them do not have more than 36 forms. All of them complete the heart. 4 are then left over. Add 32 to 32 and the sum is 64. These are the 64 forms. How do we know that 32 must be added to 32? Because it is written in Ecclesiastes 5:7, for one above another watches. We thus have 64, 8 less than the 72 names of the Blessed Holy One. These are alluded to in the verse, there are higher ones above them, and they are the 7 days of the week, but one is still missing. This is referred to in the next verse, in Ecclesiastes 5:8. The advantage of the land in everything is the king. What is this advantage? This is the place from which the earth was graven. It is an advantage over what existed previously. And what is this advantage? Everything in the world that people see is taken from its radiance. Then it is an advantage. What is the earth from which the heavens were graven? It is the throne of the Blessed Holy One. It is the precious stone and the sea of wisdom. This parallels the blue in the zit. Rabbi Meir thus said, why is blue chosen over all other colors? Because blue resembles the sea resembles the sky, and the sky resembles the throne of glory. It is thus written in Exodus 24:10, they saw the God of Israel, and under his feet was a pavement of sapphire, like the essence of heaven in clarity. Furthermore, written in Ezekiel 1:26, as the likeness of a sapphire stone was the appearance of a throne. Rabbi Barachia sat and expounded. What is the meaning of the verse? Exodus 25:2. And they shall take for me a lifted offering, tur umma. It means lift me up with your prayers. And whom? Those whose hearts make them willing. These are the ones who are willing to draw themselves away from this world. Honor him, for it is in him that I rejoice, since he knows my name. From him it is fitting to take my lifted offering, as it is written in Exodus 25:2, from each man whose heart makes him willing, you shall take my lifted offering. From he who makes himself willing, Rabbi Rahumai said, the righteous and pious in Israel, who rise me over all the world through their merit, From them the heart is sustained, and the heart sustains them. And all the holy forms oversee all the nations. But Israel is holy, taking the tree itself and its heart. The heart is the beauty, hadar, of the fruit of the body. Similarly, Israel takes Leviticus 23:40, the fruit of a beautiful hadar tree. The date palm is surrounded by its branches all around, and it has its sprout, lulav, in the center. Similarly, Israel takes the body of this tree, which is its heart, and paralleling the body is the spinal cord, which is the main part of the body. What is the lulav? Lo lev. It has a heart. The heart is also a given over to it. And what is this heart? It is the 32 hidden paths of wisdom that are hidden in it. In each of their paths there is also a form watching over it. It is thus written in Genesis 3:24, to watch the way of the tree of life. What are these forms? They are that regarding which it is written in Genesis 3:24. And he placed the cherubim to the east of the Garden of Eden, and the flame of a sword revolving, to guard the way of the tree of life. What is the meaning of he placed to the east of Kadmon of the Garden of Eden? He placed it in those paths that preceded Kadmon, the place that was called the Garden of Eden. It was also before the cherubim, as it is written, the cherubim. It was furthermore before the flame, as it is written, the flame of a sword revolving. It is then before the flame. Heaven is called Shamayim, indicating that fire and water existed before it. It is written in Genesis 1:6, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it be a division between water and water. It is then written in Genesis 1:8, and God called the firmament heaven, Sham-I-Mim. How do we know that the heaven is fire? It is written in Deuteronomy 4:24, for the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. And how do we know that this refers to the Blessed Holy One? It is also written in 1 Kings 8:36, and you, O heaven, shall hear. Was Solomon then praying to heaven that it should hear their prayers? But he was praying to the one whose name is heaven. It is thus written in 1 Kings 8:27, behold, the heaven and the heaven of heaven cannot contain you. This is the name of the Blessed Holy One. You therefore have fire. How can you then say that it was before? But we must say that their power existed before the forms of that place. Only then did these holy forms come into existence. What is their power? It is that regarding which it is written in 1 Samuel 2:2, that there is none holy like God. There is none other than you, and there is no former like our God. Rabbi Barakia sat and expounded. What is the lulav that was discussed? It is the 36 lu given over to the 32 lav. And how? He replied, there are 3 princes, the axis, the sphere, and the heart. Each one is 12, and the 3 therefore constitute a sum of 36, which is the world sustained. It is thus written in Proverbs 10:25, and righteous is the foundation of the world. We learned that there is a single pillar extending from heaven to earth, and its name is righteous, Zadok. It is named after the righteous. When there are righteous people in the world, then it becomes strong. And when there are not, it becomes weak. It supports the entire world, as it is written, and righteousness is the foundation of the world. If it becomes weak, then the world cannot endure. Therefore, even if there is only one righteous person in the world, it is he who supports the world. It is therefore written, and a righteous one is the foundation of the world. You should therefore take my lifted offering from him first. In Exodus 25:3, and this is the lifted offering that you should take from them, from the rest. What is it? Gold, silver, and copper? Another explanation. It is written in Exodus 25:2, and they shall take for me, li, a lifted offering. They shall take the yod, which is the 10th, as a lifted offering to make it holy. How do we know that the 10th is holy? Because it is written in Leviticus 27:32, "The 10th shall be holy to God." What is holy? That regarding which it is written in Ezekiel 44:30, "The beginning of all the first fruits, and every lifted offering of everything." It is furthermore written in Psalms 111:10, "The beginning of wisdom is the fear of God." Do not read "is the fear," but "and the fear." The disciples asked Rabbi Eliezer, "O Master, what is the meaning of the verse in Exodus 13:2, 'Sanctify to me every firstborn'? Does the Blessed Holy One then have a firstborn?" He replied, "Sanctify to me li every firstborn" refers to nothing other than the second level of holiness. It is the name that is given to Israel. As it is written in Exodus 7:22, "My son, my firstborn Israel." To the extent that we can express it, he was with them in the time of their oppression. It is therefore written in Exodus 4:27, "Send forth my son, and he will serve me, and not my firstborn." Rabbi Rahumai said, "What is the meaning of the verse in Deuteronomy 22:7, 'You shall surely send away the mother, and the children you shall take for yourself'? Why does it not say, 'You shall surely send away the father'? But the scripture says, 'You shall surely send away the mother,' in honor of the one who is called the mother of the world. It is thus written in Proverbs 2:3, 'For you shall call understanding a mother.' What is the meaning of, 'And the children you shall take for yourself'?" Rabbi Rahumai said, "These are the children that she raised. And who are they? They are the 7 days of creation, and the 7 days of Sukkot. Are the 7 then not the same as the 7 days of the week? The difference is that they are more holy. Regarding them it is written in Leviticus 23:37, 'Holy convocations.' But then why not Shavuot, since that is also called Leviticus 23:21, a holy convocation?" He replied, "Yes, but this is the one and the other is two. It is thus written in Exodus 12:16, 'The first day shall be a holy convocation, and the 7th day shall be a holy convocation.'" He said, "Why is Shavuot 1 day?" Because the Torah was given to Israel on that day. And when the Torah was created in the beginning, the Holy Blessed One ruled his world alone with it. It is thus written in Psalms 111:10, "The beginning is wisdom, the fear of God." Thus being so, your holiness shall be yours by yourself. "And what is Sukkot?" He replied, "The letter Bet, house." It is thus written in Proverbs 24:3, "With wisdom a house is built." And how do we know that Sukkot has the connotation of a house? As it is written in Genesis 33:17, "And Jacob traveled to Sukkot. He built himself a house, and for his livestock he built Sukkot huts. Therefore he named the place Sukkot." Rabbi Barachiah sat and expounded, "What is the axis Tali? This is the likeness that is before the Blessed Holy One. It is thus written in Song of Songs 5:11, "His locks are curled Talt Alim." What is the sphere? The sphere is the womb. What is the heart? It is that regarding which it is written in Deuteronomy 4:11, "Unto the heart of heaven." In it are included the 32 mystical paths of wisdom. What is the meaning of the verse, Numbers 6:24 through 26? "May God, Yod He Vah He, bless you and watch you. May God, Yod He Vah He, make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God, Yod He Vah He, lift his face to you and give you peace." This is the explicit name of the Blessed Holy One. It is the name containing 12 letters, as it is written, Yod He Vav He, Yod He Vav He, Yod He Vav He. This teaches us that God's name consists of 3 troops. Each troop resembles the other, and each one's name is alike named. All of them are sealed with Yod He Vav He. And how? The Yod, He, Vav, He can be permuted 24 different ways, forming one troop. This is, may God, Yod, He, Vav, He, bless you. In a similar manner, the second one, may God, Yod, He, Vav, He, make his face shine. These are 24 names of the Blessed Holy One. In a similar manner, the third one, may God, Yod, He, Vav, He, lift his face. These are 24 names of the Blessed Holy One. This teaches us that each army, with its leaders and officers, has 24. Multiply 24 by 3, and you have the 72 names of the Blessed Holy One. These are the 72 names derived from the verses in Exodus 14:19 through 21, and traveled and came and stretched. And who are the officers? We learned that there are 3. Strength, Gabora, is the officer of the holy forms to the left of the Blessed Holy One. He is Gabriel. The officer of all the holy forms to his right is Michael. In the middle is Truth. This is Uriel, the officer of all holy forms. Each officer is over 24 forms, but there is no reckoning of his troops, as it is written in Job 25:3. Is there a number to his troops? But if so, then there are 72 plus 72. He said, this is not the case, for when Israel brings a sacrifice before their Father in heaven, they are united together. This is the unification of our God. Why is the sacrifice called a karban? Because it brings the forms of the holy powers close. It is thus written in Ezekiel 37:17, and you shall join one of them to the other, making one stick, and they shall become one in your hands. And why is it called a pleasant fragrance? Fragrance is only in the nose. The sense of smell is through breath, and this is nowhere but in the nose. Pleasant, nikoach, means nothing more than descending. It is thus written in Leviticus 9:22, and he descended. And the Targum translates this as venachit. The fragrant spirit descends and unifies itself with those holy forms, bringing itself close through the sacrifice. It is for this reason that it is called a karban. There is a name that is derived from the 3 verses in Exodus 14:19 through 21, and traveled, and came, and stretched. The letters of the first verse, and traveled, are arranged in this name in the order that they are in the verse. The letters of the second verse, and came, are arranged in the name in reverse order. The letters of the third passage, and stretched, are arranged in the name in the same order as they occur in the verse, just like the case of the first verse. Each of these verses has 72 letters. Therefore, each of the names that is derived from these 3 sentences, and traveled, and came, and stretched, contain 3 letters. There are 72 names. These are the 72 names. They emanate and divide themselves into 3 sections, 24 to each section. Over each of these sections is a higher officer. Each section has 4 directions to watch: east, west, north, south. The 4 directions then have a set of 24 forms, as well as the second and the third, and all of them are sealed with Yod, He, Vav, He. God of Israel, the living God, Shaddai, holy, high, and exalted, who dwells in eternity on high, whose name is holy. Yod, He, Vav, He. Blessed be the name of the glory of his kingdom forever and ever. Rabbi Ahiliah sat and expounded. What is the meaning of the verse? God, Yod He Vav He, is king. God, Yod He Vav He, was king. God, Yod He Vav He, will be king forever and ever. This is the explicit name Shem ha-Mepharash, for which permission was given that it be permuted and spoken. It is thus written in Numbers 6:27, and they shall place my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. This refers to the name containing 12 letters. It is the name used in the priestly blessing, may God bless you. It contains 3 names, each with 4 letters, making a total of 12. Its vowel points are Yafal, Yafa'uel, and Yif'ol. If one safeguards it and mentions it in holiness, then all his prayers are heard. And not only that, but he is loved on high and below, and immediately answered and helped. This is the explicit name that was written on Aaron's forehead. The explicit name containing 72 letters and the explicit name containing 12 letters were given over by the Blessed Holy One to Maria, who stands before the curtain. He gave it to Elijah on Mount Carmel, and with them he ascended and did not taste death. These are the explicit holy exalted names. There are 12 names, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Zit, Za, Ron, Aklith, Ron, Shemach, Thur, Ron, Demu, Sha, Ron, Vet, Za, Thur, Ron, Hur, Myron, Brach, Ya, Ron, Uresh, Gadra, Aon, Basava, Man, Ahan, Havaya, Hava, Uraha, Vehara, Yethahan. All of them are included in the heart of heaven. They include male and female. They are given over to the axis, the sphere and the heart, and they are the well springs of wisdom. Rabbi Ra Umai sat and expounded, "What are the 12 tribes of Israel?" But this teaches us that the Blessed Holy One has 12 rods. What are they? What is this like? A king had a beautiful fountain, and all his brothers has no water other than this fountain, and could not endure for thirst. What did he do? He made 12 pipes for the fountain, and named them after his brothers' children. He then said to them, "If the sons are as good as their fathers, they will be worthy, and I will let water flow through the pipes. The fathers will then drink all they wish, and so will the sons. But if the sons are not worthy, and they do not do what is right in my eyes, then regarding this, these pipes will stand. I will give them water only on the condition that they give none to their children, since they do not obey my will." What is the meaning of the word Shevet, tribe? It is something simple and not square. What is the reason? Because it is impossible to have one square inside of another square. A circle inside a square can move. A square inside a square cannot move. What is the things that are circular? They are the vowel points in the Torah of Moses, for these are all round. They are the letters like the soul, which live in the body of man. It is impossible for man to come unless the Spirit endures within him. It is impossible for him to speak anything great or small without it. In a similar manner, it is impossible to speak a word, great or small, without the vowel points. Every vowel point is round, and every letter is square. The vowel points are the life of the letter, and through them the letters endure. These vowel points come through the pipes to the letters through the fragrance of a sacrifice, which immediately descend. It is therefore called a descending pleasant fragrance to God, indicating that it descends to God. This is the meaning of the verse in Deuteronomy 6:4. "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one." Rabbi Yochanan said, "What is the meaning of the verse in Exodus 15:3? God is a man-ish of war. God, Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, is his name. Man-ish indicates a sign. The Targum thus renders, God is a man of war, as God is the master of victory in war. What is this master? Aleph is the first, the holy palace. Do we then say that the palace is holy? Instead we say, the palace of the Holy One. Yod is the 10 sayings with which the world was created. What are they? They are the Torah of truth, which includes all worlds. What is the Shin? He said, it is the root of the tree. The letter Shin is the root of a tree. What is this tree that you mentioned? He said, it represents the powers of the Blessed Holy One, one above the other. Just like a tree brings forth fruit through water, so the Blessed Holy One increases the powers of the tree through water. What is the water of the Blessed Holy One? It is wisdom. It is the soul of the righteous. They fly from the fountain to the great pip, ascend and attach themselves to the tree. Through what do they fly? Through Israel. Why they are good and righteous? The divine presence dwells among them. Their deeds then rest in the bosom of the Blessed Holy One, and he makes them fruitful and multiplies them. How do we know that the divine presence is called Zedek, righteous? It is written in Deuteronomy 33:26, "He who rides in the heavens is your help, and his majesty is in the skies." Shech Akim. It is written in Isaiah 45:8, "The skies, Shech Akim, run with righteous Zedek." Zedek is the divine presence, as it is written in Isaiah 1:21, "Righteousness, Zedek, dwells in it." Righteousness was given to David, as it is written in Psalm 146:10, "May God reign forever, your God, O Zion, for generation to generation." It is also written in 1 Chronicles 11:1, "Zion is the city of David." What is the meaning of generation to generation? Rabbi Papias said, "A generation goes and a generation comes." Ecclesiastes 1:4. Rabbi Akiba said, "The generation came, it already came." What is this like? A king had slaves, and he dressed them with garments of silk and satin, according to his ability. The relationship broke down, and he cast them out, repelled them, and took his garments away from them. They then went on their own way. The king took the garments and washed them well, until there was not a single spot on them. He placed them with his storekeepers, brought other slaves, and dressed them with the same garments. He did not know whether or not the slaves were good, but they were worthy of garments that he already had and which had been previously worn. And Ecclesiastes 1:4, "But the earth stands forever." This is the same as Ecclesiastes 12:6, "The dust returns to the earth as it was, but the spirit returns to the God who gave it." Part 4, the 10 sefirot. Rabbi Amorai said, "What is the meaning of the verse in Leviticus 9:22? And Aaron raised up his hand to bless people, and he blessed them, and he descended." Did he not already descend? But he descended from making the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the peace offering. And then Aaron raised up his hands to bless the people. What is the meaning of this raising of hands? It was because he had offered a sacrifice and brought them before their Father in heaven. And as we have said, those who offer sacrifice must elevate them and unify them, to unify them among these. And what are they? The people, as it is written, "To the people, and for the sake of the people." Why are the hands lifted when they are blessed in this manner? It is because the hands have 10 fingers, alluding to the 10 sefirot, which with heaven and earth are sealed. These parallel the 10 commandments. In these 10 are included the 613 commandments. If you count the letters in the 10 commandments, you will find there are actually 613 letters. They contain all 22 letters except tet, which is missing in them. What is the reason for this? This teaches us that tet in the belly and is not included among the sefirot. Why are they called sefirot? Because it is written in Psalms 19:2, "The heavens declare Me Saprim, the glory of God." And what are they? They are 3. Among them are 3 troops and 3 domains. The first domain is light. Light is the life of water. The second dominion includes the Ioth ha-Kadesh, the Ophanium, the wheel of the chariot, and all the troops of the Blessed Holy One. The bless, exalt, glorify, praise, and sanctify the mighty King with the Kudash arranged in the mystery of the great Kudash is the fearsome and troubled King. And they crown him, I should say the fearsome and terrible King, pardon me. And they crown him with 3 holies. Why are there 3 holies and not 4? Because the holiness on high is 3 by 3, and it is thus written, God is king, God was king, God will be king forever and ever. It is also written in Numbers 6:24-26, May God bless you, may God shine upon you, may God lift you up. It is furthermore written in Exodus 34:6, God, Yod He Vav He, God, Yod He Vav He. The third one includes the rest of God's attributes. What are they? God, merciful, and gracious, the 13 attributes. What is the meaning of holy, 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 holy? Followed by the Lord of hosts, the whole earth is filled with his glory. The holy is the highest crown. The second holy is the root of the tree. The third holy is attached and unified in the mole. The Lord of hosts, the whole earth is filled with glory. His glory. What is the holy that is attached and unified? What is this like? A king had sons, who in turn also had sons. When the sons do his will, he mingles with them, supports them, and satisfies them. He gives them all everything good, so that they should be able to satisfy their children. But when the grandchildren do not do his will, then he only gives the fathers as much as they need. What is the meaning of the whole earth is filled with his glory? This is the earth that was created on the first day. It is on high, filled with God's glory, and paralleling the land of Israel. And what is this glory? It is wisdom, as it is written in Proverbs 3:35, "The wise shall inherit glory." What is God's glory? What is this like? A king had a matron in his chamber, and all his troops delighted in her. She had sons, and each day they came to see the king and to bless him. They asked him, "Where is your mother?" He replied, "You cannot see her now." They said, "Let her be blessed wherever she is." What is the meaning of "from his place"? This indicates that none know his place. This is like a royal princess who came from a far place. People did not know her origin, but they saw that she was a woman of valor, beautiful, refined in all her ways. They said, "She certainly originates from the side of light, for she illuminates the world through her deeds." They asked her, "From where are you?" She replied, "From my place." They said, "If so, the people of your place are great. May you be blessed, and may your place be blessed." Is this glory of God then not one of his hosts? Is it not inferior? Why then do they bless it? But what is this like? A man had a beautiful garden. Outside the garden, but close to it, he had a pleasant section of field. On this section he planted a beautiful flower garden. The first thing that he would water would be his garden. The water would spread over the entire garden. It would not reach the section of field, however, since it was not attached, even though it was all one. He therefore opened a place for it and watered it separately. Rabbi Rahumai said, "Glory, kavod, and heart, lev, both have the same value. They are both one. But glory refers to its function on high, and heart refers to its function below. God's glory and the heart of heaven are therefore both identical." Rabbi Yochanan said, "What is the meaning of the verse in Exodus 17:11? And it was when Moses would raise his hands, Israel would prevail, and when he would lower his hands, Amalek would prevail." This teaches us that the whole world endures because of the lifting of hands. Why? Because the name of the power given to Jacob is Israel. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were each given a particular power. The counterpart of the attribute in which each one walked was given to him. And Abraham did deeds of kindness. He prepared food for everyone in his area and for all wayfarers. He acted kindly and went out to greet them, as it is written in Genesis 18:2, and he ran to greet them. Not only that, but in Genesis 18:2, he bowed to the earth. This was a complete act of kindness. God therefore granted him the same measure and gave him the attribute of kindness, hesed. It is thus written in Micah 7:20, "You gave truth to Jacob, kindness to Abraham, as you swore to our fathers from the days of yore." What is the meaning from days of yore? This teaches us that if Abraham did not do deeds of kindness, then he would not have been worthy of the attribute of truth. Jacob would then not have been worthy of the attribute of truth. In the merit through which Abraham was worthy of the attribute of kindness, Isaac became worthy of the attribute of terror. It is thus written in Genesis 31:15, 53. And Jacob swore by the terror of his father Isaac. Does anyone then swear in this manner, mentioning his belief in the terror of his father? But up until that time Jacob had not been given any power. He therefore swore by the power that was given to his father. It is for this reason that it is written, and Jacob swore by the terror of his father Isaac. What is it? It is chaos. It emanates from evil and astounds people. And what is that? It is that regarding which it is written in 1 Kings 18:38. And fire came down, and it consumed the burnt offering, and the stones in the earth, and it evaporated the water that was in the trench. It is also written in Deuteronomy 4:24, the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. What is kindness? It is the Torah, as it is written in Isaiah 55:1, Ho, let all who are thirsty come for water, let he without silver come. Kindness is silver. It is thus written, Come, stock up, eat, come, stock up wine and milk, without silver and without payment. He fed you the Torah and taught you, for you have already learned it through the merit of Abraham, who did deeds of kindness. Without silver he would feed others, and without payment he would give them wine and milk. Why wine? Why milk? What does one have to do with the other? But this teaches us that wine is terror and milk is kindness. Why is wine mentioned first? Because it is closer to us. Do you then think that this refers to actual wine and milk? We must say that it is the likeness of wine and milk. Through the merit of Abraham, who is worthy of the attribute of kindness, Isaac was worthy of the attribute of terror. And because Isaac was worthy of the attribute of terror, Jacob was worthy of the attribute of truth, which is the attribute of peace. God bestowed him according to his measure. It is thus written in Genesis 25:27, Jacob was a complete man, dwelling in tents. The word complete means nothing other than peace. It is thus written in Deuteronomy 18:13, You shall be complete with the Lord your God. And the Targum renders this, You shall be at peace, shalom, and the word complete refers to nothing other than the Torah. It is written in Malachi 2:6, A Torah of truth was in his mouth. What is written in the very next phrase? It states, With peace and uprightness he walked before me. Uprightness is nothing other than peace, as it is written in Psalms 25:21, complete and upright. It is therefore written in Exodus 17:11, and it was when Moses would raise his hands, Israel would prevail. This teaches us that the attribute that is called Israel has in it a Torah of truth. What is the meaning of a Torah of truth? It is that which teaches Moreh, the truth of worlds, as well as his deeds and thought. He erected 10 sayings, and with them the world stands. It is one of them. In man, he created 10 fingers, paralleling these 10 sayings. Moses raised his hands and concentrated to some degree on the attribute that is called Israel, which contains the Torah of truth. With his 10 fingers, he alluded that he was upholding the 10. For if he would not help Israel, then the 10 sayings would not endure every day. It was for this reason that Israel prevailed. And when he lowered his hands, Amalek prevailed. Would Moses then do anything that would cause Amalek to prevail? Because it is forbidden for a person to stand for 3 hours with his hands spread out to heaven. His disciples asked, To whom are the hands raised? He replied, To the heights of heaven. How do we know this? It is written, Habakkuk 3:10, The deep gives forth its voice, it lifts up its hands on high. This teaches us that the lifting of hands is only to the heights of the heaven. When among Israel there are people who are wise and know the mysteries of the glorious name, and they lift up their hands, they are immediately answered. It is also written, Isaiah 58:9, Then Oz, you will call and God will answer. And if you call God, then Oz will answer you immediately. What is the meaning of then? This teaches us that it is not permissible to call Aleph alone. It may only be called through the 2 letters that are attached to it, which sit first in the kingdom, together with the Aleph. They are then 3. 7 of the 10 sayings then remain, and this is the Zion. It is also written in Exodus 15:1, Then as sang Moses and the children of Israel. What are the 10 sayings? The first is the highest crown. Blessed and praise be its name and its people. Who are its people? They are Israel. It is thus written in Psalms 103, Know that the Lord is God. He made us, and not, lo, we, his people. The verse then reads, To Aleph are we, to recognize and know the unity of unities, who is unified in all his names. The second one is wisdom. It is written in Proverbs 8:22, God procured me the beginning of his way, before his works, from then, as a beginning, is nothing other than wisdom, as it is written in Psalm 111:10. The beginning is wisdom, the fear of God. The third one is the quarry of the Torah, the treasury of wisdom, the quarry of the Spirit of God. This teaches us that God carved out all the letters of the Torah, engraved it with spirit, and with it made all forms. This is the meaning of the verse in 1 Samuel 2:2. There is no rock, Zur, like our God. There is no former, Zayur, like our God. These are three. What are the fourth? The fourth is Deuteronomy 33:21, the charity of God, his merit and his kindness, hesed, to all the world. This is the right hand of the Blessed Holy One. What is the fifth? The fifth is the great fire of the Blessed Holy One. Regarding this, it is written in Deuteronomy 18:16, Let me see the great fire, no more, lest I die. This is the left hand of the Blessed Holy One. What are they? They are the ha-Iyaf, ha-Kadesh, and the holy seraphim. To their right and their left, they are the pleasant ones, which ascend higher and higher, as it is written in Ecclesiastes 5:7, and ones higher than they. It is also written in Ezekiel 1:18, and as for their height, they had height, and they had fear, and their height was filled with eyes around the four. And around him are angels. Those around them also bow down before them, kneeling and declaring, The Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. The sixth one is the throne of glory, crowned, included, praised, and hailed. It is the house of the world to come, and its place is in wisdom. It is thus written in Genesis 1:3, And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. And Rabbi Yochanan said, There were two lights, as it is written, and there was light. Regarding both of them, it is written in Genesis 1:4, that it was good. The Blessed Holy One took one light and stored it away for the righteous in the world to come. Regarding this, it is written in Psalms 31:20, How great is the good that you have hidden away for those who fear you, that you have accomplished for those who find shelter in you. We learn that no creature could look at the first light. It is thus written in Genesis 1:4, And God saw the light that it was good. It is furthermore written in Genesis 1:21, And God saw all that he made, and behold, it was very good. God saw all that he had made, and saw shining brilliant good. He took that good and included it in the 32 paths of wisdom, giving to this world. This is the meaning of the verse, Proverbs 4:2. I have given you a doctrine of good, my Torah, do not abandon it. We say that this is the treasury of the oral Torah, the Blessed Holy One. This attribute is considered to be included in this world, and it is the oral Torah. If you keep this attribute in this world, then you will be worthy of the world to come, which is the good stored away for the righteous. What is it? It is the force of the Blessed Holy One. It is thus written in Habakkuk 3:4, And the glow will be like light. The glow that was taken from the first light will be like our light if his children keep the Torah and commandment that I wrote to teach them. It is thus written in Proverbs 1:8, Hear, my son, the admonition of your father, and do not abandon the Torah of your mother. As it is written in Habakkuk 3:4, He has raised from his hand, and his hidden force is there. What is this, his hidden force? This is the light that was stored away and hidden, as it is written in Psalms 31:20, that you have hidden away for those who fear you. What remains for us in that which you have accomplished for those who find shelter in you? These are the ones who find shelter in your shadow in this world, who keep your Torah, observe your commandments, and sanctify your name, unifying it secretly and publicly. The verse thus concludes, In the sight of the sons of man, Rabbi Rahu Mai said, this teaches us that Israel had light. Torah is light, as it is written in Proverbs 6:23. For a commandment is a lamp, Torah is light, and we say that a lamp is a commandment, illumination, ora, oral Torah, and light, or, is the written Torah. Why? Because this light has already been kept. It is called light. What is this like? A room was hidden at the end of a house. Even though it is day and there is bright light in the world, one cannot see in this room unless he brings along a lamp. The same is true of the oral Torah. Even though it is a light, it needs the written Torah to answer its question and explain its mystery. Rabbi Rahumai said, what is the meaning of the verse in Proverbs 6:23? And the way of life is the rebuke of admonition. This teaches us that when a person accustoms himself to the study of the mystery of creation and the mystery of the chariot, it is impossible that he not stumble. It is therefore written in Isaiah 3:6, let this stumbling be under your hand. This refers to things that a person cannot understand unless they cause him to stumble. The Torah calls it the rebuke of admonition, but actually it makes one worthy of the way of life. When one who wishes to be worthy of the way of life must therefore endure the rebuke of admonition. Another explanation, life. Life is the Torah, as it is written in Deuteronomy 30:19, and you shall choose life. It is furthermore written in Deuteronomy 30:20, for it is your life and your length of days. If one wants to be worthy of it, he should reject physical pleasure and accept the yoke of the commandments. If he is afflicted with suffering, he should accept it with love. He should not ask, since I am fulfilling the will of my Maker and am studying the Torah each day, why am I afflicted with suffering? Rather, he should accept it with love. Then he will be completely worthy of the way of life. For who knows the way of the Blessed Holy One? Regarding all things, one must therefore say, righteous are you, O God, and your judgment is fair. All that is done from heaven is for the good. You said his throne. Have we then not said that it is the crown of the Blessed Holy One? We have said Israel was crowned with 3 crowns, the crown of priesthood, the crown of royalty, and the crown of Torah above all. What is this like? A king has a pleasing, beautiful vessel, and he was very fond of it. Sometimes he placed it on his head. This is the tefillin worn on his head. At other times he carried it on his arm, and the knot of the tefillin worn on the arm. Sometimes he lends it to his son, so that it should remain with him. Sometimes it is called throne. This because he carries it as an amulet on his arm, just like a throne. What is the 7th? It is the heaven, Aravot. And why is it called heaven, Shamayim? Because it is round like a head. We learn that it is in the center, with water at its right and fire at its left. It supports water, Sa-Mayim, from fire and water, and brings peace between them. Fire comes and finds the attribute of fire on its side. Water comes and finds the attribute of water on its side. It is therefore written in Job 25:2, he makes peace in his high places. Is it then the 7th? It is nothing more than the 6th. But this teaches us that the holy palace is here, and it supports them all. It is thus counted as 2. It is therefore the 7th. And what is it? It is thought that does not have any end or boundary. This place likewise does not have any end or boundary. The 7th one is the east of the world. It is from where the seed of Israel comes. The spinal cord originates in man's brain and extends to the generative organ, where the seed is. It is therefore written, Isaiah 43:5, from the east I will bring your seed. When Israel is good, then this is the place from which I will bring your seed, and new seed will be granted to you. But when Israel is wicked, seed has already been in the world. It is thus written, Ecclesiastes 1:4, a generation goes and a generation comes, teaching us that it has already come. What is the meaning of the verse? Isaiah 43:5, and from the west I will gather you. It means from the attribute that always points to the west. Why is the west called Ma'arev? Because it is there that all seed is mixed together. Mit Arev. What is this like? A king's son had a beautiful bride, and he hid her in the chamber. He took riches from his father's house and constantly brought it to her. She in turn took everything, constantly put it away and mixed it all together. Ultimately, he seeks to see what he had gathered and accumulated. It is therefore written, "And from the west I will gather you." And what is his father's house? It is that regarding which it is written, "From the east I will bring your seed." This teaches us that it is brought from the east and sowed on the west. He then gathers what he has sowed. What is the eighth one? The Blessed Holy One has a simple righteous one, Zadok, in his holy world. And it is dear to him because it supports all the world. It is the foundation, Yesod. This is what sustains it and makes it grow, increasing and watching it. It is beloved and dear on high, and beloved and dear below, fearsome and mighty on high, fearsome and mighty below, rectified and accepted on high, rectified and accepted below. It is the foundation of all souls. Did you then say that it is the eighth? And do you say that it is the foundation of all souls? Is it not then written in Exodus 31:17, "And on the seventh day he rested and sold"? Yes, it is the seventh. This is because it decides between them. There are 6, and 3 are below, and 3 above, and it decides between them. Why is it called the seventh? Is it then the seventh? It is not, but it is because the Blessed Holy One rested on the Sabbath with the attribute regarding which it is written in Exodus 31:17. For 6 days God made the heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and sold. This teaches us that each day has a saying that it must master. This is not because it was created on that day, but because that is when it does the task to which it was assigned. Each one does its task and maintains its activities. The seventh day therefore comes and does its task, making them all rejoice. Not only that, but it also causes their souls to grow, as it is written, "On the seventh day he rested and sold." What is this rest? It is the absence of work. It is a cessation, which is called Shabbat, which means rest. What is this like? A king had 7 gardens, and in the middle one contained a fountain, welling up from a living source. 3 gardens are at its right, 3 at its left. When it performed its function and overflowed, they all rejoiced, saying, "It overflowed for our sake." It waters them and makes them grow, while they wait and rest. Do we then say that it waters the 7? But it is written in Isaiah 43:5, "From the east I will bring your seed." This indicates that one of them waters it. We must therefore say that it waters the heart, and the heart then waters them all. Rabbi Barakiah sat and expounded. Each day we speak of the world to come. Do we then understand what we are saying? In Aramaic, the world to come is translated the world that came. And what is the meaning of the world that came? We learned that before the world was created, it arose and thought to create an intense light to illuminate it. He created an intense light over which no created thing could have authority. The Blessed Holy One saw, however, that the world could not endure it. He therefore took a seventh of it and left it in its place for them. The rest he put away, and for the righteous in the ultimate future. He said, "If they are worthy of this seventh and keep it, I will give them more in the final world." It is therefore called the world that came, since it is already came from the 6 days of creation. Regarding this it is written in Psalms 31:20, "How great is your good that you have hidden away for those who fear you." What is the meaning of the verse in Exodus 15:27? "And they came to Elim, where there were 12 wells of water and 70 date palms, and they encamped there by the water." What is so special about 70 date palms? In one small place there can be 1,000, but they were worthy of their counterpart. They are likened to date palms. It is written in Exodus 15:23, "And they came to Marah, and they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter." This teaches us that the north wind confused them. It is thus written in Exodus 15:25, "And he cried out to God, and he showed him a tree. He cast it into the waters, and the waters became sweet." God immediately placed his hand against the Satan and diminished him. It is thus written in Exodus 15:26, 15:25. There he gave them a decree and a law, and there he proved to them. This teaches us that at this time the Satan attached himself to them in order to blot them out from the world. It is thus written in Exodus 15:24, and the people complained to Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?" The Satan continued to denounce Moses until he cried out to God and was answered. What is the meaning of the verse? And he showed him a tree. This teaches us that the tree of life was near the water. The Satan came and removed it in order to denounce Israel and to cause them to sin against their Father in heaven. He said to them, "Are you now then going into the desert? Even now there is nothing other than bitter water. But this has some benefit, since you can make some use of it. But when you enter the desert, you will find not even water with which to wash your hands and face. You will die from hunger and thirst, naked and having nothing." The people came to Moses and repeated these words, but he put them off. And when the Satan saw that he could not overcome them, he strengthened himself against Israel and Moses. The people came and they complained to Moses. They said, "Even here we lack water. What shall we drink in the desert?" The Satan had falsified the situation in order to cause the people to sin. As soon as Moses saw the Satan, he cried out to God and he showed him a tree. This is the tree of life that Satan had removed. He then cast it into the water, and the water became sweet. The Blessed Holy One then gave the Satan a decree and a law, and it was there that he proved Israel. The Blessed Holy One warned Israel, saying, Exodus 15:26, "If you listen to the voice of the Lord your God, I will not bring harm upon you, for I am the God who heals you." What is this like? A king had a beautiful daughter, and others desired her. The king knew about it, but he could not find those who wanted to bring his daughter to evil ways. He came to his house and warned her, saying, "My daughter, do not pay attention to the words of these enemies, and they will not be able to overcome you. Do not leave the house, but do all your work at home. Do not sit idle even for a single moment. Then they will not be able to see you and harm you." They have one attribute which causes them to leave aside every good way and choose every evil way. When you see a person directing himself along a good way, they hate him. What is the attribute? It is the Satan. This teaches us that the Blessed Holy One has an attribute whose name is evil. It is to the north of the Blessed Holy One, as it is written in Jeremiah 1:14, "From the north will evil come forth upon all the inhabitants of the earth." Any evil that comes to all the inhabitants of the earth comes from the north. What is this one attribute? It is the form of a hand. It has many messengers, and the name of them all is evil. Some of them are great, some are small, but they all bring guilt to the world. This is because chaos is towards the north. Chaos, who is nothing other than evil. It confounds taha, the world, and causes people to sin. Every evil urge, Yetzirah, that exists in man comes from there. And why is it placed to the left? This is because it does not have any authority, any place in the world except in the north. It is not accustomed to be anywhere except in the north. It does not want to be any place but in the north. If it remained the south until it learned the routes of the south, how could it lead others astray? It would have to stay there for days until it learned, and then it could not cause people to sin. It therefore is always in the north to the left. This is the meaning of the verse in Genesis 8:21, "For the urge of man's heart is evil from his youth." It is evil from his youth, and it does not incline other than to the left, for it is already accustomed to be there. It is regarding this that the Blessed Holy One said to Israel, Exodus 15:26, "If you listen to the voice of the Lord your God, and do what is upright in his eyes, and give ear to his commandments, and not to the commandments of the evil urge, and keep all his decrees, and not the decrees of the evil urge, for I am God who heals you." What does the evil urge gain? What is this like? A king appointed clerks over the lands of his kingdom, over his work and over his merchandise. Each and every thing had its clerk. There was one clerk in charge of the storehouse containing good food. Another was in charge of the storehouse containing stones. Everyone came to the storehouse containing good food. The clerk in charge of the storehouse of stones came and saw that people were only buying from the other. What did he do? He sent his messengers to tear down the weak houses. They could not do so, however, to the strong ones. He said, In the time that it takes to tear down one strong home, you can tear down 10 weak ones. People then all come and buy stones from me, and I will not be inferior to the others. It is thus written in Jeremiah 1:14, "From the north will evil come forth upon all the inhabitants of the earth." The verse then continues in Jeremiah 1:15, "For I call all the families of the kingdom of the north, says God, and they will come, and each one will place his throne at the opening of the gates of Jerusalem. Evil will be their business, and the evil will urge, also constantly strive." The word Satan means turning aside. Since he turns all the world aside to the balance of guilt, how is this indicated? It is written in Genesis 38:16, "And he turned aside to her." And the Targum renders this vesata. It is likewise written in Proverbs 4:15, "Turn aside, set from it and pass on." What is the significance of the 70 date palms? They had accepted upon themselves the commandments, as it is written in Exodus 15:26. If you listen to the voice of the Lord your God. Immediately after this we find in Exodus 15:27, "And they came to Elimah." What is the meaning of Elimah? It is Elimah, to me is what? Where there were 12 wells of water. At first God gave it to them as wells, and in the end he gave it back to them as stones. It is thus written in Joshua 4:9, 12 stones. What is the reason? It is because the Torah was originally likened to water in the world. Only later was it put in permanent place. Water, however, is here one day and elsewhere the next. What are the 70 date palms? This teaches us that the Blessed Holy One has 70 structures. These draw down the 12 simple ones. Just like water is simple, so are these simple. How do we know that the date palm is a structure? Because it is written. Song of Solomon 7:8. Your structure is like a date palm. Besides that, there are 70 kinds of date palms. It is therefore written that there were 70 date palms. One was not like the other. Their functions were all different, and the taste of one was not like the taste of the other. You said that the 70 date palms represent the 70 structures, but have you not said that there are 72? There are 71. Israel makes 72, but it is not included. But did you not say that there were 70? One is the officer of the Satan. What is this like? A king had sons and brought slaves for them. The king then told his sons, "I am giving you all equally." One of them replied, "I do not want to be with you, for I have the power to steal everything from you." The king then said, "Because of this you will not have a portion among them at all." He did what he could. He went out and lay in wait for the slaves, showing them much gold, jewels, and troops. He said, "Come over to me." What did the king do? He amassed his armies together with the armies of all his sons. He showed them to the slaves and said, "Do not let him trick you into thinking that his armies are stronger than mine. Behold, the troops of that son. He is deceitful and wants to rob you. Therefore, do not listen to him, for at first he will speak smoothly in order to entice you into his trap, but in the end he will laugh at you. You are my slaves, and I will do for you everything good if you turn away from him and do not listen to him. He is the prince of chaos. It is thus written in 1 Samuel 12:21, "Do not turn aside, for you will follow chaos. It will not help or save, for it is chaos, but it can do harm." The advice that I give you is that you should, in Exodus 15:26, listen to the voice of the Lord your God, do what is right in his eyes, and give ear to his commandments, and keep all his decrees. When you keep all his decrees, then, all the sickness that I brought upon the Egyptians I will not bring upon you. Why did he say all this? In order to close all doors, so that he should not find you soft at times and hard at times. When you keep all his decrees, then all the sickness that I brought upon the Egyptians through my hand, I will not bring upon you. What is the meaning, "For I am God who heals you"? This means that even when he comes and strikes, I am God who heals you. Why do you call it the 8? Because with it the 8 are begun, and with it the 8 numbers are completed. In function, however, it is the 7th one. And what are they that were begun? This is the fact that a child enters the covenant and circumcision when 8 days old. Are they then 8? They are nothing more than 7. Why then did the Blessed Holy One say 8? Because there are 8 directions in man. What are they? They are as follows: the right and left hands, the right and left legs, the head, the body, and the covenant, as an arbitrator and his wife, who is his mate. It is thus written in Genesis 2:24, and he shall cling to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. They are the 8, and they parallel the 8 days of circumcision. Are they then 8? They are nothing more than that 7, since the body and covenant are one. It is therefore 8. What is the 9th? He said to them, the 9th and the 10th are together, one opposite the other. One is higher than the other by 500 years. They are like 2 wheels, often them. One inclines towards the north, while the other inclines towards the west. They reach down to the lowest earth. What is the lowest earth? It is the last of the 7 earths down below. The end of the divine presence of the Blessed Holy One is under his feet. It is thus written in Isaiah 66:1, the heaven is my throne and the earth is the hassock for my feet. The victory, nitzachon, of the world is there. It is thus written in Isaiah 24:10, for the victory of victories, natzach, natzakim. What is the meaning of victory of victories? There is a single victory, natzach. Which is it? It is the one that inclines towards the west. And what is secondary to it? This is the one that inclines towards the north. And the third one? This is the one that is below. The third one, but you have said that the chariot has 2 wheels. We must therefore say that the end of the divine presence is victory. This is the meaning of victory of victories. Victory is 1, victories is 2, giving 3. His disciples said to him, from above to below we know, but from below to above we do not know. He replied, is it not all one, below to above and above to below? They said, our master ascending is not the same as descending. One can run while descending, but cannot do so while ascending. He replied, go out and see. He sat and expounded to them, there is a divine presence below, just like there is a divine presence above. What is this divine presence? We have said that it is the light that was derived from the first light, which is wisdom. It also surrounds all things. As it is written in Isaiah 6:3, the whole earth is filled with his glory. What is its function? What is it like? A king had 7 sons, and he assigned each one a place. He said to them, sit here, one above the other. The lowest one said, I will not sit at the bottom. I do not want to be far from you. He replied, I will surround you and see you all day long. This is the meaning of the verse. The whole earth is filled with his glory. Why is he among them? This is so that he should support them and sustain them. And what are the sons? I have already told you that the Blessed Holy One has 7 holy forms. All of them have a counterpart in man, as it is written in Genesis 9:6. For in the form of God he made man. It is likewise written in Genesis 1:27, in the form of God he made man. Male, female, he made them. This is what they are, the right and left legs, the right and left hands, the body, covenant, head. But these are only 6. You have said that there are 7. The 7th is his wife. It is thus written in Genesis 2:24, and they shall be one flesh. But she was taken from his ribs, as it is written in Genesis 2:21. And he took one of his ribs. He said, yes, from his ribs. Does he then have a rib? Yes, it is written in Exodus 26:20, the ribs of the tabernacle. The Targum renders this, the side of the tabernacle. And what is his side? What is this like? A king had an idea to plant 10 male trees in a garden. All of them were date palms. He said, since they are all the same kind, it is impossible for them to endure. What did he do? He planted an etrog among them. This was one of those which he had intended to be male. And why is the etrog female? Because it is written in Leviticus 23:40, the fruit of a beautiful tree, fronds of a date palm. What is the fruit of a beautiful tree? The Targum renders this verse, the fruit of the etrog tree and the lulav. What is the meaning of beautiful? It is the beauty of all things. This is also the beauty of the Song of Songs. Regarding it, it is written in Song of Songs 6:10. Who is she who looks forth as the dawn, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, terrible like an army with banners? This relates to the female. Because of her, the female was taken from Adam. This is because it is impossible for the lower world to endure without the female. And why is the female called Nekeva? Because her orifices, Nekev, are wide. Also because she has more orifices than the male. What are they? They are the orifices of the breast, the womb, and the receptacle. And what is the reason that you said the Song of Songs is beautiful? Yes, it is the most beautiful of all Holy Scripture. Rabbi Yochanan thus said, all Scripture is holy, and all Torah is holy, but the Song of Songs is the Holy of Holies. What is the meaning of the Holy of Holies? It means that it is the holy for the holy ones. What are the holy ones? They are the counterparts of the 6 directions that are in man. That which is holy for them is holy for everything. What is this that is holy? It is etrog, which is the beauty, hadar, of them all. Why is it called beautiful, hadar? Do not read hadar, but hadar, which dwells. This refers to the etrog, which is not bound together with the lulav. Without it, the commandment of the lulav cannot be fulfilled. It is also bound with them all. It is with each one of them, and is unified with them all. What does the lulav parallel? It is the counterpart of the spinal cord. It is thus written in Leviticus 23:40, a branch of a tree of leaves and willows of the brook. The branches must cover the majority of it. If its branches do not cover its majority, it is invalid. Why? What is it like? A man has arms, and with them he protects his head. He has 2 arms, and his head makes 3. A branch of tree leaves. A branch is to the left, and the leaves are to the right. It then comes out that the tree is in the center. And why is it called a tree? Because it is the root of the tree. What are the willows of the brook? There are 2, and these parallel the 2 legs in man. Why are they called arve? Naka. Because the greater of the 2 is inclined towards the west, ma-arev, and draws its strength from them. The one to the north is smaller, then by a journey of 500 years. It is on the northwest side, through which it functions. It is named after it, since they are both mixed, arav. Another explanation, they are called arve nakal, because the function of one is sometimes mixed, ma-arav, with that of the other. Why are they called willows of the brook? This is because the place in which they are fixed, which is called brook. It is written thus in Ecclesiastes 1:7, all the brooks go to the sea, but the sea is not filled. What is the sea? We say that it is the etrog. How do we know that each of the 7 attributes is called a brook? Nakal. Because it is written in Numbers 21:19, from gift to Nakalio. Do not read Nakalio, but Nakle, El, brooks of God. And all 6 then go on one path to the sea. What is this path? It is the one that arbitrates between them. It is thus written in Habakkuk 3:5. Before him goes the pestilence, and fiery bolt at his feet. All of them go to that pipe, and from that pipe to the sea. This is the meaning of the verse, from gift to brooks of God. It is the place that is given, namely the brain. From there they go to the brooks of God, and from brooks of God to Bamot. What is Bamot? As the Targum renders it, Ramta, or heights. This is the Segal that follows the Zarqa, and Bamot to the valley that is in the field of Moab, the head of the cliff, and it looks down on the face of Yeshaman. And from the heights, Bamot to the valley that is the field of Moab. This is what which is prepared. And what is that which was in the field of Moab? Do not read Moab, but Mayav, from a father. This is the father, regarding which it is written in Genesis 26:5, because Abraham hearkened to my voice, kept my trust, my commandments, and my decrees. What is this field? It is the one that is at the head of the cliff, and which also looks down on the face of the Yeshaman. It is interpreted to mean heaven. Regarding that pipe, it is written in Song of Songs 4:15, a fountain of gardens, a well of living waters flowing from Lebanon. What is Lebanon? We say that this is wisdom. What are the willows of the brook? Nakal. We say that it is that which gives inheritance, nak Allah, to Israel. It refers to the 2 wheels of the chariot. We learned that there are 10 spheres and 10 sayings. Each sphere has its saying. It is not surrounded by it, but rather it surrounds it. This world is like a mustard seed inside a ring. Why? Because the spirit that blows upon it, through which it is sustained. If the spirit were to be interrupted for even a moment, the world would be annihilated. There are 3 spheres in this world. How? This world inclines to the north and to the south. North, west, south. Northwest is the first sphere that revolves around us. Do we then say that it is in the northwest? But we say that its strength is to the north. This is the left foot. Above it is the second sphere, which is entirely to the west. Do we then say that it is the west? But we say that its power is to the west. These are the victories of the world. Above it is the third sphere, and its power is to the southwest. What is the original power that you said was second? We say that this is the right foot. And what is the power that is to the southwest? This is the foundation of the world. Regarding this, it is written in Proverbs 10:25, "The righteous is the foundation of the world." The second power stands behind the chariot, while the first power stands in front of it. The righteous, foundation of the world, is in the center. It emanates from the south of the world and is officer over the other 2. In its hands are also the souls of all living things. It is the life of the world. Whenever the word creation, Beria, is used, it is done with it. Regarding it, it is written, Exodus 31:17, "He rested and sold." This is the attribute of the Sabbath. Regarding this, it is written, Exodus 28, "Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy." But it is also written in Deuteronomy 5:12, "Keep the Sabbath." This is the speaking of 7th attribute. Regarding this 7th attribute, it is written in Leviticus 19:30, "My Sabbaths you shall keep, my sanctuaries you shall fear." What is the 7th attribute? This is the Blessed Holy One, and it is the attribute of goodness. Why is it written, "My Sabbaths you shall keep," rather than "my Sabbath"? What is this like? A king had a beautiful bride, and every week she would set aside a day to be with him. The king also had beautiful beloved sons. He said to them, "Since this is the situation, you should also rejoice on the day of my joy, for it is for your sake that I strive, and you also respect me." What is the reason that it is said remember and also keep? Remember, Zakor, refers to the male, Zakar, keep, Shamor, refers to the bride. Why is it connected to, "And my sanctuary you shall fear"? This is because my sanctuary is holy. Why? Because I am God who makes you holy from every side. Why do we say, "On all that he created is the life of worlds"? Why do we not say, "On all that you created"? But we bless the Holy One who grants his wisdom to this life of worlds it then provides for all. What is the reason that we say, "Who made us holy with his commandments and commanded us"? Why do we not say that you made us holy with your commandments and you commanded us? This teaches us that all commandments are included in the life of worlds. Because of his love for us, he gave us the commandments in order that they should make us holy and allow us to be worthy. Why? Because when we are in this world, we can become worthy of the world to come, which is great. In its hands is the treasure of soul. When Israel is good, these souls are worthy of emerging and coming to this world. But if they are not good, they do not emerge. We therefore say, the Son of David will not come until all souls in the body are completed. What is the meaning of all the souls in the body? We say that this refers to all the souls in man's body. New ones will be worthy of emerging. The Son of David will then come. He will be able to be born, since his soul will emerge among the other new souls. What is this like? A king had an army, and he sent them much bread to eat. They were so lazy that they did not take care of what they did not eat. The bread therefore became moldy and went to waste. The king investigated to find out if they had what to eat, and to see if they had eaten what he sent them. He he found that the bread had become moldy, and they were ashamed to ask for new bread. How could they tell the king, "We did not care for it properly, but now we need more"? The king also became angry. He took the moldy bread and ordered that it be dried and rectified as much as possible. He swore to the men, "I will not give you any more bread until you eat all the moldy bread." He then returned the bread to them. What did they do? They divided it up, and each one took his portion. They diligently took their portion, placed it in the air, taking care of it and keeping it in good condition to eat. The other one took it and ate it lustfully. He ate what he could and laid the rest aside, not taking care of it since he had given it up. It spoiled even more and became so moldy that he couldn't even eat it at all. He then starved to death. He was then blamed for the sin of his body. Why did you kill yourself? Is it not enough that you ruined the bread the first time? But I returned it to you, and you ruined it yet again. You ruined your portion because you were too lazy to take care of it. And not only that, but you have killed yourself. The soldier then replied, "But my lord, what could I have done?" He answered, "You should have been able to take care of it. And if you claim that you were not able to, you should have watched your friends and neighbors with whom you shared the bread. You should have seen what they did and how they took care of it, and you should have kept it like they did." They also interrogated him, "Why did you kill yourself? Is it not enough that you ruined the bread? But why did you also go ahead and kill the matter of your body? You shortened the days of your life. You caused it. It may have been possible that you could have had a good son. He could have saved you and healed the damage that you and others did. Your suffering will therefore be increased on all sides." He became confused and replied, "What could I have done when I did not have any bread? With what could I have sustained myself?" They answered, "If you would have stricken and worked in Torah, you would have not replied foolishly and brazenly like this. Because of your reply, it is obvious that you have not worked or striven in the Torah. It is written in Deuteronomy 8:3, "For not by bread alone does man live, but from all that emanates from God's mouth does man live." You should have searched and probed and asked, "What is it through which man lives? What is this which emanates from God's mouth?" From here they said, "An idiot cannot be pious. If a person does not act with kindness, hased, toward himself, he cannot be called pious, hased. How can one do a kindness to his master? By studying the Torah. All study of Torah is deed of kindness towards one's master. It is thus written in Deuteronomy 33:26, He rides the heavens with your help." God says, when you study Torah for its own sake, then you help me and I can ride the heavens. Then his pride is in the skies. Shech Akim. What is this Shech Akim? We say that it is the innermost chamber. The Targum thus renders it, "His word is in the heaven of heavens." Therefore, not by bread alone does man live, but from all that emanates from God's mouth does man live. However, the fool answers brazenly. Abandon this brazenness and do not reply in this manner. He is therefore punished. What is his punishment? We have already discussed it. What is the meaning of the verse in Job 15:2? Should a wise man answer knowledge of spirit? What is knowledge of spirit? This is the knowledge that is close to the spirit. Regarding this, it is written in Isaiah 11:2, "And there will rest upon him a spirit of God, a spirit of wisdom and understanding." Binah and Hakmah. Wisdom is first, and then comes understanding. And in understanding is counsel, strength, knowledge, and fear of God. But you told us that counsel is deeds of kindness, and that understanding is the attribute of kindness. Knowledge is truth. Knowledge is therefore that with which one recognizes the truth. The fear of God is the treasury of the Torah. This is like I say, but one is above the other. Rabbi Akiba thus said, "With whatever God created, he created its counterpart." It is thus written in Ecclesiastes 7:14. Also, one opposite the other has God made. What is the treasury of the Torah? It is that regarding which it is written in Isaiah 33:6. The fear of God is his treasury. A person must first be God-fearing, and then he can study Torah. This is like a person who comes to buy date honey, but does not bring a vessel in which to carry it. He says, I will carry it in my bosom. He tries to carry it in his bosom, but it is very heavy, and he is also afraid that it will tear and soil his clothing. He therefore throws it away on the road. This person is then punished twice. First, because he ruined good food, and second, because he wasted money. The fear of God is the one that is higher. It is in the palm of God's hand. It is also his force. This palm, kaf, is called the pan of merit, kaf zakht. This is because it inclines the world to the pan of merit. It is thus written in Isaiah 11:3, I will grant him a spirit of the fear of God, and he will not judge by the sight of his eyes. He will not admonish according to what his ear hears. He will incline all the world to the pan of merit. From there counsel emanates, and from there health emanates to the world. It is thus written in Genesis 49:24. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. This is the place that is called there. Regarding this, it is written, Habakkuk 3:4, and his hidden force is there. Once this thing comes, sharpen it. What is it sharpening? Tell us the meaning of the verse. He has rays from his hand. Why does it say rays and then his hand? It should say his hands. There is no contradiction. This is very much like the verse in Exodus 32:19. And Moses' anger flared, and he threw the tablets from his hands. The way this is written, however, it would be read, his hand. It is likewise written in Exodus 17:12, and his hands were faithful until the sun set. The verse says, was faithful, emunah, and were faithful, emunat. They replied, Our master, we are pointing out a contradiction in order to receive an answer, and you are covering our eyes. Did you not teach us, master, that you must answer first things first and last things last? He then expounded, And what have you asked? He has rays from his hand. By the divine service, I have just explained it to you with my words. They were ashamed when he saw that they were ashamed, as it is not true that there was water and that fire emanated from it. Water therefore included fire. And master, what is the meaning of rays? And he replied, There are 5 rays. These are the 5 fingers on man's right hand. And master, you are the one who told us in Rabbi Yochanan's name that there are only 2 arms of the world. He replied, Yes, but here rays allude to the 2 rays that are below them. And what are they? He said, with the anger of your head. And what is above? He said, the fear of God. And what is the fear of God? It is the first light, Rabbi. Mir thus said, Why is it written in Genesis 1:3, and God said, Let there be light, and there was light? Why does it not say, and it was so? But this teaches us that the light was very intense, and so that no created thing could gaze upon it. God therefore stored it away for the righteous in the ultimate future. This is the measure of all merchandise, sefirot, in the world. It is also the power of the precious stones that are called Sokheret and Dar. And upon what is the attribute of Dar? This teaches us that God took 1,000th of its radiance, and from it he constructed a beautiful precious stone. In it he included all the commandments. Abraham came, and he sought a power to give him. He gave him this precious stone, but he did not want it. He was worthy, and he took kindness as his attribute. As it is written in Micah 7:20, kindness to Abraham. Isaac came, and he sought a power, but he gave it to him, and he did not want it. He was worthy, and he took the attribute of strength, which is terror. It is thus written in Genesis 31:53, and Jacob swore by the terror of Isaac his father. Jacob came and wanted it, but it was not given to him. They said, Since Abraham is above and Isaac is below, you will be in the center and take all 3. What is the center? It is peace. As it is written in Micah 7:20, you give truth to Jacob, Truth is identical with peace, as it is written in Esther 9:30, words of peace and truth. It is likewise written in 2 Kings 20:19, for peace and truth will be in my days. This is the meaning of the verse in Isaiah 58:14. I will feed you with the inheritance of Jacob your father. This is a complete inheritance, Allah, compromising kindness, terror, truth, and peace. It is therefore written in Psalm 118:22, the stone despised by the builders has become the chief cornerstone. This is the stone that was despised by Abraham and Isaac, the builders of the world, and then became the chief cornerstone. And why did they despise it? Is it not written in Genesis 26:5, because Abraham hearkened to my voice and kept my watch, my commandments, my decrees, and my Torahs? What is the meaning of my watch? It refers to what the attribute of kindness said. As long as Abraham was in the world, I did not have to do my job. Abraham stood there in my place and kept my watch. It is my task to bring merit to the world. And even when people are guilty, I bring my merit. I also bring them back, directing their hearts to do the will of their Father in heaven. All this Abraham did, as it is written in Genesis 21:33. And he planted a tamarisk in Beersheba and called there in the name of the Lord, God of the world. He would share his bread and water with all the people in the world, bringing them merit, seeking to convince them. He would say, whom then are you serving? Serve the Lord, God of heaven and earth. He would preach to them until they would repent. How do we know that he would also bring merit to those who are guilty? It is written in Genesis 18:17, shall I then cover my Abraham? What am I doing? Abraham is becoming a great, mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him, and I will give him merit. I know that he will seek mercy for them. He is worthy. Is it then possible to say that the Blessed Holy One did not know that they could be saved? But he said this to bring him merit. From here they said, if one comes to purify himself, they help him. If one comes to defile himself, they open for him. What is the meaning of they open for him? It refers to those that are always open. It is said in Genesis 26:5, my commandments, my decrees, and my Torahs. He said, since I do not want the stone, I will keep all the commandments, and they that are included in it. What is the meaning of my Torahs? This teaches us that he knew and kept even the decisions, hora, and discussions that are taught on high. And what is the meaning of the verse in Genesis 49:24? From there is the shepherd, the rock of Israel. From there is nourished the rock. What is the meaning of from there? We say that this is the supernal righteous one, a Zadek. What is it? It is the stone, Sa-Aret, and the stone that is below it is called Dar. And what are the rays mentioned in the verse, Habakkuk 3:4? He has rays from his hand. These are the 5 fingers of the right hand. All right, final part 5, the mysteries of the soul. And we are reading the Sefer Bahir. Rabbi Rahumai said, this I received when Moses wanted to know about the glorious fearsome name. May it be blessed, he said, Exodus 33:18. Show my please your glory. He wanted to know why there are righteous who have good, righteous who have evil, wicked who have good, and wicked who have evil. But they would not tell him. Do you then think that they did not tell him? Can one then imagine that Moses did not know this mystery? But this is what Moses said, I know the ways of the power, but I do not know how thought spreads through them. I know that truth is in thought, but I do not know its parts. He wanted to know, but they would not tell him. Why is there a righteous person who has good and a righteous person who has evil? This is because the righteous person was wicked previously and is now punished. And is one then punished for his childhood deeds? Did not Rabbi Simon say that in the tribunal on high, no punishment is meted out until one is 20 years or older? He said, I am not speaking of his present lifetime. I am speaking about what he has already done previously. His colleague said to him, "How long will you conceal your words?" He replied, "Go out and see. What is this like? A person planted a vineyard and hoped to grow grapes, but instead sour grapes grew. He saw that his planting and harvest were not successful, so he tore it out. He cleaned out the sour grapevines and planted again. When he saw that his planting was not successful, he tore it up and planted it again. How many times? He said to them. For 1,000 generations. It is thus written in Psalms 105:8. The word that he commanded for 1,000 generations. It is in relation to this that he said, lacking were 974 generations. The Blessed Holy One stood up and planted them in each generation. Rabbi said, if the righteous wanted, they could create a world. What interferes? Your sins. As it is written in Isaiah 59:2, only your sins separate between you and your God. Therefore, if not for your sins, there would not be any differentiation between you and him. We thus see that Rabbah created a man and sent it to Rava Zerah. He spoke to it, but it would not reply. But if not for your sins, it would also have been able to reply. And from what would it have replied? From its soul. Does a man then have a soul to place it in? Yes, as it is written in Genesis 2:7, and he blew in his nostrils a soul of life. If not for your sins, man would therefore have a soul of life. The soul is not pure. This is the difference between you and him. It is thus written in Psalm 8:6, and you have made him a little less than God. What is the meaning of a little? This is because a man sins, while the Blessed Holy One does not. Blessed be he, and blessed be his name forever and ever. He has no sins, but the evil urge comes from him. Can we then imagine that it comes from him? But it originated from him until David came and killed it. It is thus written in Psalms 109:22, my heart is hollow within me. David said, behold, I was able to overcome it. Psalms 5:5, evil will not sojourn with you. How was David able to overcome it? Through his study, since he never stopped day or night. He therefore attached the Torah on high. For whenever a person studies Torah for its own sake, the Torah attaches itself to the Blessed Holy One. They therefore say, a person should always study Torah, even not for its sake, since if not for its sake, he will eventually come to study for its own sake. What is this study of Torah that you are discussing? It is the bride who is adorned and crowned, and who is included in the commandments. It is the treasury of the Torah. It is the betrothed of the Blessed Holy One. As it is written in Deuteronomy 33:4, Moses commanded us the Torah, the heritage, morasha, of the congregation of Jacob. Do not read heritage, morasha, but betrothed, maruasa. How is his so? When Israel engages in the Torah for its own sake, then it is the betrothed of the Blessed Holy One. Then it is the heritage of Israel. Rabbi Amorai sat and expounded even further. Why was Tamar worthy of being the mother of Peretz and Zerach? This is significant because before I even get into it, I just literally read from another rabbi yesterday. This part of the text is referring to reincarnation. So I've been waiting for this part. It was because her name was Tamar. Tamar was the sister of Amnon. She was therefore made for this. Why were they called Peretz and Zerach? Peretz was named after the moon. The moon breaks out Peretz at times and will be built up in the future. Zerach was named after the sun, which always shines. Zerach in the same manner. But Peretz was the firstborn. Is then the sun not greater than the moon? This is no difficulty, as it is written in Genesis 38:28. One put out a hand. It is thus written in Genesis 38:30. This his brother, upon whose hands was the scarlet thread emerged, and he was named Zerach. She was supposed to have been the firstborn, but God saw that Solomon would descend, and he had such great joy that he made Zerach return. There we go. Why was she called Tamar and not any other name? Because she was female. Can we then say that she was female? but it is because she included both male and female. For every date palm includes both male and female. How is this? The frond lulav is male. The fruit is male on the outside and female on the inside. And how? The seed of the date has a split like a woman. Paralleling it is the power of the moon above. The Blessed Holy One created Adam, male and female. As it is written in Genesis 1:27, male and female he created them. Is it then possible to say this? Is it then not written in Genesis 1:27, and God created man in his image, in the image of God he created him? It is only then later written in Genesis 2:18, I will make him a helper opposite him. And Genesis 2:21, and he took one of his ribs and closed the flesh under it. But we must say that the Torah uses formed, yatzar, made, asa, and created, bara. When the soul was made, the word made is used. Male and female, he created them. The word formed was used when the soul was combined with the body and the spirit was brought together. How do we know that forming means bringing together? It is written in Genesis 2:19, and the Lord God formed all the beasts of the field and all the flying things of the heaven, and he brought them to the man to see what he would call each thing. This explains the verse in Genesis 5:2. Male and female he created them. It is also written in Genesis 1:28, and God blessed them. The soul of the female comes from the female, and the soul of the male comes from the male. This is the reason why the serpent followed Eve. He said, her soul comes from the north, and I will therefore seduce her. And how did he seduce her? He had intercourse with her. His disciples asked, tell us how this took place. He replied, the wicked Samael made a bond with all the hosts on high against his master. This was because the Blessed Holy One said in Genesis 1:26, and let him rule over the fish of the sea and the flying things of heaven. Briefly, commentary. And I've been trying to get through this with the least amount of commentary. It's fascinating that these rabbis are mixing early Christian Gnostic themes into this kabbalistic interpretation of the Hebrew tradition. Fascinating. I love it. Samael said, how can we cause him to sin and he be exiled from before God? He descended with all his host and sought a suitable companion on earth. And he finally found the serpent, which looked like a camel. And keep in mind, Samael means blind god. Which looked like a camel. Again, camel, gimel, camel. All right. The camel is the ship of the desert in ancient times. Also, the camel is the journey, gimel, from the crown of the tree of life, Kether, to Tiphereth. All right, I'll stop with the commentary. Keep reading. He descended with all his host and sought a suitable companion on earth. He finally found the serpent, which looked like a camel, and he rode on it. And then he went to the woman and said to her, Genesis 3:1. And I will say again, and I'm sorry I'm driving everyone crazy, but keep in mind as well where the moon is on the tree of life and the significance of camel because of Tamar's name meaning moon and moon preceding the sun and the sun being in Tiphereth. Anyways. But did God also say from all the trees of the garden? But I will seek more. I will add in order that she should subtract. She replied, he did not stop us from anything besides. Genesis 3:2. The fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden. God said, do not eat from it. Do not touch it, lest you die. And she added two things. She said, from the fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden. While God had only said in Genesis 2:17, from the tree of knowledge. She also said, do not touch it, lest you die. What did Samael do? He went and touched the tree. The tree cried out and said, wicked one, do not touch me. As it is written in Psalms 36:12, let not a foot of pride overtake me, and let not one hand of the wicked move me. There have the workers of iniquity fallen. They are thrust down, they cannot rise. He then said to the woman, "See, I touched the tree and I did not die. You can also touch the tree and not die." The woman went and touched the tree. She then saw the angel of death approaching her. "Woe is to me! Now I will die, and the blessed Holy One will make another woman and give her to Adam. I will therefore cause him to eat with me. If we die, we will both die, and if we live, we shall both live." She took the fruit of the tree and ate it, and she also gave some to her husband. Their eyes opened and their teeth were set on edge. He said, "What is this thing that you have given me to eat? Just as my teeth were set on edge, so will the teeth of all generations be set on edge." God sat down in true judgment, as it is written in Psalms 9:5, as a righteous judge. He called to Adam and said, "Why do you flee from me?" As he replied in Genesis 3:10, "I heard your voice in the garden and my bones trembled. I was afraid because I was naked and I hid. I was naked of works. I was naked of commandments. I was naked of deeds." It is therefore written, "Because I was naked, I hid." What was Adam's garment? It was a skin of fingernail. As soon as he ate from the fruit of the tree, his skin of fingernail was removed from him, and he himself was naked. It is thus written in Genesis 3:11, "Who told you that you were naked?" Adam said, "The blessed Holy One, Master of all worlds. When I was alone, did I ever sin before you? But the woman that you placed with me enticed me from your word." It is thus written in Genesis 3:12, "The woman that you placed with me." The blessed Holy One said to her, "Is it not enough that you sinned, but you also caused Adam to sin?" She replied, "Master of all worlds, the serpent enticed me to sin. You took the three of them and decreed upon them a sentence of 9 curses and death." He then cast the wicked Samal and his group from their holy place in heaven. He cut the feet of the serpent and cursed it more than all other animals and beasts of the field. He also decreed that it must shed its skin every 7 years. Samal was punished and made the guardian angel over the wicked Esayu. In the future, when God uproots the kingdom of Eden, he will lower him first. It is thus written in Isaiah 24:21, "God will punish the hosts of heights of heaven." This statement, death and punishment, all came because she added to the commandment of the blessed Holy One. Regarding this, it is said, "Whoever increases diminishes." The end.